And we are live talking about something this week. So basically, I told last week that it would be our last political stream for now. I want to reiterate that because in the future I do want to cover politics again. So this week is like a transition from the old format we had for months now to the next one. We will be covering Pierre Poilievre, Joe Rogan. I know it's politics, but hey, it's
You said
very
you wouldn't cover
interesting.
Canadian politics.
Yeah, and I will also say this: we covered that because mostly it's a big interview, and I think a lot of people will sleep on that. I've seen the 2 hour and a half, and there was a big chunk of time, at least half an hour about wrestling and battle and also there was a segment about health in general and taking care of yourself, and I really
Uh,
enjoyed that. But unfortunately, it was 2 hour and a half, and I was kind of lazy to find again what I preferred in that interview. Therefore, I ended up using clips from many YouTuber I enjoy a lot, and I put together a small compilation of what I think will be great moments. And I will also say this: maybe some of it will repeat itself. I will be honest. I took the clips, I mashed them together, and that's it. So I didn't really do quality control. I just trust the sources. And we will also cover very interesting interview Mark Carney had just before becoming prime minister, and that was last year when he was at a show in the USA. And
really
I,
show Trevor Noah. And
I,
I
I,
I will say, seeing, look, talking to Joe Rogan now, it's bigger. You can arguably say Barron Trump was like, so Barron Trump's a high functioning autistic, but he's a child with Melania. Now, take that for as a greatest salt. He basically is the one who encouraged Trump to go over there. But I heard in Poilievre's, I was kind of like skimming through it. Um, Certain parts of it are interesting because he does talk about the TDS. Like,
yeah, yeah,
like if you asked me to cut that out, then there's also the part was Joe Rogan does the Joe Rogan conspiracy stuff and asks, so what do you think about crash spaceships and aliens? And you're like, pot use and DMT. And it's like, Polyev is almost like, uh, I'm like, this is not where you wish to be. But I'm
and
arguably like,
anyway, now that's the intro. So this week is the premise of what we will be doing in the near future for these stream we are doing on Saturdays and Fridays. So that's the premise of it. And now let's get into the first clip, just to showcase two very different character. And as usual, maybe if you have anything to say, Dragon, don't hesitate to pause. So let's get into the first clip. I will be honest, maybe I just don't have a sense of humor, but I don't think it's funny. Any thoughts on that, Dragon?
no, he's fucking. You gotta realize Jon Stewart made his fame. Like he's not very famous on. So most late night shows, late night comedians are. He has a team of writers, but like oh, I thought this was like Trevor Noah, but this was him talking to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart actually has severe TDS, even back then. So you gotta understand some of the humor, like when he did like Biden, like one of the last major sketches with Biden, I think was getting around. It's very much a weird case of it's hard to describe because Jon Stewart's like in a ways a classical liberal that if you think about a classical liberal, but at the same time, the TDS brain rot that he has, because he's argued Like he used to every year or so, twice a year, sometimes twice a year, talk to Bill O'Reilly. And Bill O'Reilly is an actual independent. But like him, he has a unique kind of sense of humor that's made for college students. Hello, Jasmine. Here's the thing about this. Him comparing that, even Carney doesn't get the humor. It's like college American level humor.
I think
So
it's generous because sometimes college humor is actually decent. So I don't know.
you gotta understand, comparing Polyev and like Trudeau, because he knows his American audience doesn't like Trudeau. We know, and this, I guess, when you think of when this is done,
Even Trudeau was hated by Canada by the end. Like people wanted him gone. Like if Trudeau stayed and Mark Carney didn't take over, they would have lost so many seats. There was high risk and high chance they would have lost party status. So that was like Trudeau was not liked at the end. Like it was like for years. Like don't get me wrong. Like for at least 7 to 8 years in the 10 years Trudeau was in power, he was loved. And I think it started like taking a dump and taking a downward spiral with the trucker because a lot of people actually didn't like what he was doing with the trucker. And that's 2022. So again, for 7 to 8 years, he was loved and liked. But in the last 2 to 3 years he was in power, people were not having it anymore. And that's why he
oh,
stepped down.
also, let me preference this. According to mostly Jon Stewart's audience, do you, I hate to say this to make a reference, Canadians are 2D fictional characters and
That's true. That's true. I'm
I'm
not
not
offended
kidding.
at
I am
all. I
not
agree.
kidding because it's the,
I agree, Dragon.
because to most college people and in my age group, if you don't get the reference, and I'm not trying to insult Canadians.
Canadian are gullible. Canadian
No,
are
no, you missed my
predictable.
point. Let me say
Canadian
this.
are naive. Canadian. I'm sorry,
South Park,
folks.
okay, South Park made Canadians. They go how Ike was. You knew Ike was born in Canada
Yeah,
because
we are.
Canadians talk out the sides of their mouths,
Yeah, we are
and they're
caricatures.
2D characters.
We are
That's South Park.
caricatures, Dragon. I know. I know. Like my family is Canadian, and I also find myself to be myself a caricature as well. I think Canadians, some are more complex, but at large, I think we are quite simple folks. And unfortunately, it really plays against us. That's why we keep electing stupid piece of garbage in power. But um, again, we are gullible, we are naive. We, as a civilization, we are the easiest to just rile up against something because we are like drones. So when someone says Canadian are 2D, yes, we are.
No,
uh,
okay, it comes from the idea in South Park where the Terrence and Phillip, where you are 2D characters and you talk out of the sides of your mouths.
yeah,
You think I'm kidding? That's what you got to bear in
you're
mind.
not kidding. That's exactly it.
Most
Like
of it,
they are
and that's
spot
Matt
on
Parker and
that.
Trey Stone's doing. So a lot of his humor on Canadians will be played into that.
So okay, so let's play more of that because the interesting moment hasn't occurred yet, and there's a lot to break down on the talk they will have shortly. So let's get into it. Say Pierre Poilievre is a Karate Kid villain, and it's kind of funny if you hate conservative and if you're liberal. So he was knowing his base back then, and it's just it I think it talks very well on who Mark Carney is. He is mean and he is nasty, but people don't see it just because of his political set of belief. Because he's a liberal, people won't think he is mean and nasty. And right now, I think it's kind of mean. It's not nasty, but I think it's very mean high school crap there that's going on. And at that point, he wasn't prime minister yet. But I can bet a lot of people would have seen it and said, you know what, we will vote for him because we don't like the conservatives. So that's what happened. Anyway, let's play more of that. But right now, we can already get the vibe that Carney is mean. He is not a nice person to hang around. If you're his enemy, he will toss you out of the way, and that's a way to do things. But I don't think it's the classical. I don't think it's the usual Canadian way. We used to not really act like that back then. Now we do because we got leadership that's like that. But I think at our root, how we used to be, it's not Canadian. What Carney is doing is not classy. Canadian used to be classy. Anyway, let's play more of. Okay, so now is talking point is lifelong politician or bad. I can see an argument for it, but I will push back on that. I think when you're in politics and you have a lifelong politician, that could actually bring some change, especially in Canada. Because in Canada, the original idea of our democracy is it's the House of Common for the commoner. It used to be anyone can become a politician, but now they really want credential. They really want prestige, and I think it has really tarnished the idea of the House of Common because it's no longer like that now. So it's a very modern way to approach politics now. Oh, you're a lifelong politician, therefore you're an issue. That's what Carney places forward, and it's also a way he's like, oh yeah, it's bad. He paint that on a very bad way. So again, taking shots at Pierre Poilievre once again. And right now he's in the USA. He's on foreign soil, and he talks on a not so honorable way about someone we deem honorable because we call our politician honorable, even if they're no longer like that today. But that's beside the point. And I feel like Carney depicts very well my statement of politicians nowadays are no longer honorable, especially in Canada. They are no longer like that. They used to be, but they are no more. Like right now, it's a minute in, and there's at least 30 seconds of Mark Carney just bashing Pierre Poilievre. And that's fine. That's politics, but it's not classy. It's not the usual Canadian picture we have, or the usual Canadian we witness in general. And I even if I'm born in Canada, I feel like a foreigner because I'm also mean and nasty. But like the usual Canadian is not like that. And Mark Carney right now in that interview is not your usual Canadian. And I will give him that. He stands out in the crowd. But again, he is a mean guy that's diminishes anyone else that don't agree with his policies. So let's get into the rest. I think it's very good. You know why? Because people were choked on freaking taxes. But Carney won't understand that because he has money in tax heaven. He was a banker. He is a rich oligarch. This is what Carney is. So he doesn't understand the common Canadian. And right now he's just saying, "Oh yeah, let's tax the people. It's fine." Because deep down, and I'm reading values right now. I'm 100 page into it. It's a socialist nightmare. It's a dystopian, twisted version of what the world should be. And it's called values. Its values are socialist, but like not the kind of, oh, we give here, we give there. It's the version the government decides everything. You're under a surveillance state. You're broke, and the people on top, they are the ones smart enough to deal with the money. So that's why when he's like, oh, let's cut the tax, it's a bad thing. It's because he wants people to be taxed until they cannot breathe anymore. That's why Carney is like that.
I
And
think you misunderstand. He basically, including if you haven't picked up on this and about him while he's prime minister, and this goes back to the idea in the Epstein files too. In the Epstein files, even it's hinted at. Epstein may have inadvertently, besides being one of the weird, probably biggest monsters ever, understood it was the hedge fund managers and the other people that made the markets. So, like, and Carney kind of knows that, where in the way that it is, if it makes sense, in Carney's world, the movers and the shakers are the financial elite. And it's not an
And according to his values, they should be the one rich.
so
Anyway,
like it's not that people forget, and this is something to remember about the it's basically you need to remember about the worst part about the Epstein files as not who as much the victims are as much as when they started following the money. It was literally Epstein probably helped create cryptocurrency.
yeah,
Now, we're talking, he was not talking to just normal people. He was talking to the billionaire class, the people who make the money, the bankers. He would go to them and say, "This is an investment idea." And majority of the time, his investment ideas would make money. Now, down the line, it could hurt other people, yes. But the thing about this is, Carney comes from that world where he is of the social. Like, okay, question is ultimately whether or not you guys knew Trudeau and Canada was under the control or thumb of the World Economic Forum. You're seeing now with him as prime minister, he's for a new liberal world order that throws the entire rules out. You're reading his book. But what most people see now is an actual man that in reality is thinking that the elite can and will probably have a lot of influence, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
So
And I,
you're
I will also say this. So now he's like, very soon he will bring something very interesting about safety nets and money, and people don't have jobs anymore, and we will have some kind of double talk because he was part of the decision of freezing bank accounts. So let's just play more of that. But again, right now it depicts cutting tax as a bad thing, and we shouldn't be doing that. We should just keep spending and spending and spending, even if we don't have the money. This is what we should do, and this is how it caused inflation. But let's play more of that now.
Everyone's just been pushed out of.
So here's the thing: he plays on Fifi. Oh, you take away something from the vulnerable. Well, the vulnerable are now in the streets because housing costs way too much. First of all, and second, he seems so genuine and so good, right? But let me remind all of you, Carney was the one that told Trudeau and Trisha Freeland, let's freeze bank account of the truckers because we should destroy any dissent. This is what they did. And this is under Carney decision. And they appealed twice the court's ruling that it was illegal what they did to the trucker. And you know what? It's not enough because under Carney, they did a third repeal, and that's the last one. And finger crossed, the court will call it illegal a third time. So it will be maybe the final nail on Carney coffin. Because if they do it a third time, the conservative will run all day and say, you see, he wasted taxpayer money for a third verdict of the same first two things. And now what worries me is if this third and last final repeal actually work in favor of the liberals, then you're right when you said Canada has no more freedom, because then that means a court will simply go with whoever is in power and in charge. And for
But
me,
that
that's
was the thing with the Emergency Power Act.
yeah,
In the US, we saw one of the first rulings after the truckers, they upheld that. Because the worst thing you see in the US is actively they think Trump will declare martial law.
yeah.
That's not entirely possible. That can't be fully done.
And again, I really feel like it's double talk because he is a vulnerable, but he's also the guy that told let's freeze bank account, and it wasn't only truckers and people directly involved in the protest. It was also donator and people from the outside that just wanted to support the cause. So we have single moms, single dads out there. They may have or may not have a job, and yet their damn bank account was frozen because they decided to give $20 to the truckers. It's messed up, and this is that elitist mindset he has. He is so far away from the commoner of the House of Commons that we used to have. Our entire parliamentary system was based on the idea anyone could become a politician because anyone can serve the people, and that should be an honor and not tyranny like whatever Trudeau has been doing and whatever Carney is trying to do. Um, so yeah, let's play more of that, more nastiness, and again, we are like 1 minute into Mark Carney speaking, and it's all about Pierre Poilievre bad and bad ideas. So populism. I think populism is far better than globalism, and I really feel like today in 2026, especially in Canada, it's a fight versus the globalist and the populist. And I'm sorry, but I don't want the globalists to win. I think we should hold power to account. I think we should be the one in charge of the government, and you will never get that kind of treatment if it's a globalist elite that's in charge. I think you will get the treatment I'm asking if it's a populist one. I might be wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. Any thoughts on that, Dragon?
I've often said I don't think it's a term. I think you're thinking populist. I'm thinking the issue right now with a lot of governments is more or less it's the fall of the more globalist regimes.
It's the fault elsewhere, but in Canada we are still full on
The
into it.
issue that like Trump's power comes from it's not that you got a people don't realize that Trump has total support to do whatever he wants in the US. Republicans will check him. That's one of the biggest things people forget. The idea is I've said this about other nations as well. It's nationalists versus globalists. Now, by that I mean you have to understand the inherent nature of how globalism was a means to prevent major wars and other disputes to a degree for a long time. People legit believe that is actually how you're supposed to do it. Carney did believe in what was the liberal world order. Liberal world order was that he is of the system that uses like the IMF, because what the IMF was largely more known for was giving a lot of money to a lot of nations to keep them either in debt or subservient, like Canada, not Canada, but Cuba. Cuba largely,
Canada is certainly like Cuba, but keep going.
Cuba was like basically indebted with the IMF for a while. They're like, we're going to give you loans to prop your society up. Canada had that. That's why you guys have such a massive amount of debt. the GDP.
Yeah.
People will go, well, this can't be happening. It's
And it's
not a
also
real
because we
thing.
block our own resources and we keep spending like there's no tomorrow. And these bankers, they don't care about inflation because it doesn't impact them. Uh, they actually like that. So let's play more of that interview now.
The Liberal Party there a chance?
I think it does give the Liberal Party a chance, yes.
Right. And he did that
Because they were
purposefully.
collapsing.
He came to that. Yeah, he came to that conclusion.
He came to that conclusion? Or
It was kind of forced out, but they won't say it out loud. Now it's been more than a year. They should start doing that. But like back then, it was all still fresh, and they cannot admit that out loud that it was forced out. But they really forced out Trudeau.
Basically they put Trudeau out to pasture.
Yeah.
And it's like a dying animal.
Because they were tanking. they were tanking so
They
hard.
can't openly say they wanted to get rid of Trudeau.
Yeah.
Like they go, well, if we publicly get rid of Trudeau, we
admit the opposition was right.
admit that we are fucked. That basically signals an opposition that
There's blood in the water.
it goes beyond blood in the water. It goes to the point of, oh God, we are just, what are we doing here? Because, as I said, Carney was a status quo. You could think he wasn't. That was his purpose.
I know he was. But Canadian thought he was the big game changer because he's a banker, not a career politician.
Look, the problem is you can think people could just go, he's not a career politician. Well, shit.
It was always evolved, like, at some extent to politics. Let's be honest with that. Like, even if he wasn't always the face, he was always involved somewhere with policies and that kind of stuff. He was always whispering at someone's ears that had political power. So,
well, the biggest problem
Canadian don't think that far ahead, you know.
Here's the thing about it. Like, Canada, by this time, you gotta understand, you guys are already, like, far. I've said this to another, like, there's a Canadian person that was in Aiden Paladin's chat. She's a very good She was doing the part. It's kind of in that one of, I said you guys are basically in-stage liberalism. It's the same thing I say here. You guys kind of had a chance, but in a way, you guys really don't. I said I'm going to be honest. I don't want to say this is the worst case.
We are cooked.
I want to say this is not the worst case for Canada. I say this as a person who understands some history. You guys might as well elect your Hitler and let them run your nation into the ground, then rebuild from the ashes. I'm not kidding. I am not.
Hitler in charge right now.
I'm just letting you know.
The ground and then we will rise up.
It is basically like the reason I say this is it's the only way you guys are going to get rid of the safety net problems. Your massive debt.
Safety net used to be great.
Like your social spending is killing you.
If we talk about like late 90s and early 2000, we had great. We actually had great safety nets all the way up to like by the end of 2014, like right around Trudeau corner, because the last budget the Conservative gave was balanced, something the Liberals didn't do for 10 years now, and that's why we are going to the ground. So let's play more of that now.
Nancy Pelosi
set the stage for the TDS. We're going to blame Trump for the tariffs. He says, I'm going to lay it. This is something that our Democrats tried to do. Our Democratic Party people down here, the greatest part about there is, it's the greatest lie ever told. Tariffs are going to be the terriblest thing ever.
But yet they will keep them if they get in power.
So the thing about what people don't, I think, know about when you get into discussing tariffs and trade wars, every nation has publicly had tariffs. Now, in before someone says, "Well, it's just this or whatever," what do you think the policy of China was globally? How do you think China makes up its trade deficit?
By having leverage on
Basically,
other
taxing
countries.
imports and making exports very cheap.
They want they want their claws on everything. China, like they're next
So
level
that's the
bad
thing,
crap.
right? Did
Yeah.
you know that's also called, say the word with me, tariffs and a trade war? They have had a trade war in a trade almost leverage on the rest of the world for almost 20 years. When people said, you want cheap manufacturing in your country, you want cheap manufacturing for the Walmarts, the Costco's, they had to go to China. They did
Yeah.
it out of China. They did it as the thing. Now, controversial people will go, this can't be true. This my worldview is going to collapse. No, this has been, and everyone goes, but Trump and tariffs, Trump and trade wars. That's because no one has seen officially everything called tariffs.
And to be
For
honest, I'd rather have a tariff war than a hot war where people shoot each other. I'm sorry, but like having less death is fine.
because you get what I'm saying, right? It's like an
Yeah.
economic. The thing is, Trump's main goal when he became president was
Bring back manufacture and
to do
industries.
that, you need to get the car companies in Canada. Do you know why Canada lost manufacturing jobs?
Because we're
That's
not competitive anymore.
do you
With
know
the
why?
tariffs and our stupid policies. It's our stupid
It was
policies
your
and the tariffs.
policies actually that did it.
Yeah.
It was
Even,
the
even, if- even before Trump was there, we were already bleeding jobs. But
you're
only conservatives
so
say
here's the
that.
thing about Canada, and people can say, well, this wasn't the case. The reason why a lot of
It's
companies
liberals that are in denial of
the
that.
companies were like, it was expensive to manufacture stuff there. That was the issue.
Too much tax, and even there, like our policies are really, really
No, it's the
bad. Like,
carbon policy. You're like
every policy.
here's the thing. People don't understand about net zero. Net zero arguably increases the cost of all production.
And anyone that's not net zero will automatically beat the crap out of the competition that is stuck with net zero. That's a big thing.
But net zero, if it is pushed by a government in manufacturing, or there's other like environmental standards, like GM and a lot of the automakers got tired of the bullshit policies up there. So they started.
Net zero also destroyed some of the jobs because of the green techs. They would replace some of the people involved in the making of products.
I would say something to the effect of, if you think of a lot of people who do HVAC, right? That's commercial air conditioning.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking certain manufacturing that you need to do. Sure, Canada had that, but it also presented itself to be in the world's worst position to actually be the alternative. Same with Mexico. Now, this goes back to tariffs. The issue is, yes, Trump did say we're going to make money back. Guess what happened when we started doing tariffs on imports and exports and other items? We came up with $500 million, like $500 billion.
That's amazing.
And you know what he's going to do with that money? It's going into a general fund to fund stuff in the United States.
And that's great.
But we're still at a trade deficit with China. We still are. Europe
China
was
is
with
cheap,
it.
yeah.
Actually, no. It's the problem is they still have that. It's a
They have
leverage.
forced scam that do slavery basically, and
I will say it's kind of strange because their economy has been kind of slowly collapsing for like the. There's a thing about them. The thing, and this is why he's talking about the tariff and trade wars. Like all the liberal people go, knowing this, it's also going to cause a rebalancing of a lot of people who had economic power. It really hasn't hurt people as much as you think.
yeah,
Now, but it's also made a lot of people. Carney, whoever was going to be your next prime minister, was going to have to play ball with Trump.
and
Now,
Carney didn't. A
and
year later, Carney
this is the
didn't.
thing of sorry if it goes long-winded. This idea is every new leader coming in knew they were going to have to play ball. Basically, Trump nearly has ended the Ukraine war for a period just by threatening every nation with tariffs that would have funded basically would have funded
Ukraine.
the Ukraine war, Russia's war with Ukraine buying their oil. I shit you not. That's a funny little detail.
And that's
Now,
great. That's pressure.
and then you're talking it's economic pressure because this is something people don't think about. Now, it is interesting, let's say if we talk current events. Were they right about Trump being a little crazy? Now, arguably I have next week talking about Iran. Did they overestimate a little bit on Iran? But Iran was supplying oil to both Russia
And China.
and China.
Two enemies of the USA,
And they're also being now China is still quiet about the Iranian thing.
Dragon, I must say that the most hilarious thing, the most brain damage thing you can think of is all of the people that say I stand by Iran and their dictatorship, but I also stand by Ukraine. You cannot do both, folks, because the Iran freaking regime gives oil to Russia, and Russia uses that oil to crush Ukraine. But hey, Canada is filled with brain rot, and we must stand up.
You get what
for
I'm
the
saying
oppressed.
because he
Yeah.
sets forth this because he knows that his base is not going to take. Because let's assume Trudeau was forced out. He had to position himself, and he knew Poilievre was going to be the next opponent. It's like everyone here knows they're all jockeying for positions on who's going to be. Now, I say it's too soon. We got to wait till see how the midterms shake out before we absolutely do anything in the candidates. But in this interview, you're seeing him go, yeah, Trudeau's going. We know Trudeau's gone. We know Trudeau was our weakness.
Yeah.
So what do? We have to
Force him out.
have to force him out, and we have to have a good policy.
Yeah.
And now, with that in place, you understand the trade war. He's talking now to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, as I preferenced, has major TDS.
Yeah.
You can't tell it. Like he's frothing. You think, okay, normally I would say he's a comedian. He tries to be funny. But when it comes to like Trump, he legit is going to start foaming at the mouth.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, let's play more of that interview.
Sorry.
Yeah, and this week, I know we won't get too deep into it, but this week it was saying the exact opposite. So he was basically lying back then or now. I think it's now that he is lying. Anyway, let's play more because we know Carney true colors, at least you and I. I wish Canadian would see the same Carney we see.
Do you know why that when these people talk about the world is more dangerous? That's because of the falling apart of the UN and other so-called of the liberal world order bodies.
Yeah,
And it goes back to the
they
rise
drop
of
like flies.
it's called the basic like the rise of nationalism.
Yeah,
And you know what's funny? A lot of these people in Canada, I want you to ask, because you got a fiance from that part of the world.
yeah,
They don't talk about the Christian genocides
never,
in Africa that was going on in the last year, have they?
never.
No, that hasn't happened. But October 7th, we got to talk about October 7th, right?
Yeah,
No, how Israel is bad. And they don't think about it. They'll go, "Oh, but Ukraine, but Ukraine." But think about this. These people talk about all this stuff has been on the rise. And I'm not anti-Islamic people or migration. Please understand that. What has been a major driver and divisive in European nations causing unrest? A lot of Islamic people.
yeah.
And you know what? There's a you talk about alternative content. I have one that I'm going to do, and then we could cover here too. Tommy Robinson, I think is his name, basically is doing a thing on how when they went into the UK, they caused a change. You guys are getting a large influx of Chinese and Indians, more than Muslims. Europe is getting more Islamic people. It's altering the culture, and they're only like 6% of the population in the UK.
Us, it's worse than that, man.
But you get what I'm saying. They're like
Yeah.
talking like this is. He doesn't realize. Well,
Cultural replacement.
we might have issues with other crap going on.
Yeah,
Think about that. What's making good global news? And it's not fear. The people who have been in your nation for the longest time aren't. You had basically, this was before the H-1B visas, but we got to, and as I've said before, and I'll let it play out, I'll end on in this portion. Your NDP, do you know why I call your NDP basically, they're like our Democrats? They're just worse like that. They sound like our Democrats in the States.
yeah, and they'll get their new leader tomorrow. That's most likely going to be full on communist. That will be a communist platform.
Well, don't feel bad. They're trying to.
At least they will get back the support they lost from the liberals.
By the way, the Democrats for our midterms, for a lot of states that are winning, we're starting to hear the term social democrats, social democracy. We're like, oh God. See, I'm gonna
it has begun.
the
This
revolution.
is the end.
The revolution.
Issues as it could be. We need to focus on them immediately. That can happen now, and that's what this election is going to be.
Can I tell you something?
Remind me again. When was your major wildfires that started to clog up our air systems?
That was last year.
When was
2
that?
years ago. Actually, 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
How did the liberals handle that?
Not so well.
And what did that do to your air quality? Did they get all those?
We could not go out.
Did they give your air?
Montreal.
Did they fix everything that was
No,
burnt down?
it's still broken.
Okay, just saying.
Nothing they broke has been fixed. But they have the plan. They know how to do it.
I mean, this is the thing.
Years ago,
they have a plan, but never the way to fix it. And by the way, let me say this too. You'll notice a lot of liberals will always create a problem. Okay, they propose a solution. It causes a problem. The next thing you know, they'll say, but guys, we got a solution. Okay.
Strip
This
people their
happens
rights.
here all the time, by the way. Don't fear. It happens here all the time. Okay? Just saying.
Each time we have a liberal government, it happens to us as well.
They're like, we got a solution. Create a problem. They create a solution. Causes another problem.
If you speak up, you will be jailed like China.
The Lloyd's of London, which does all the insurance for
Say that like people that resonated with people. What were they trying to say?
It was funny
Maybe it's
because
not accurate.
they all disagreed with my ideas, and they said these are all very scary ideas.
Scary.
And then they said,
growth?
first of all, they said that I had no policies. Then they said they're scary policies, and then they stole my policies right before the election. So, but hey, listen, if the government that's in power now steals all my ideas and does the things I want to do, then I've won.
Right.
That's why I came here. I didn't just do it so that I could have my name on the door. So I keep saying to the Prime Minister, steal my ideas.
Right. But he doesn't want to.
Well, I won't criticize him on foreign soil. I
understand.
But
Good for you.
yeah, I mean, we have a mutual
That's
respect.
such a Canadian thing to do.
That is a very Canadian thing to do. So,
Did you caught that?
Well, see, there's a class. Like, it's kind of, yes, I get that. It's kind of.
This is the Honorable Pierre Poilievre, leader of the opposition, that won't criticize the government on foreign soil. And as someone that has seen what happens next, it was expanding more on that, and it was basically saying the job of the opposition is to oppose on our soil, on inside of our House of Commons, but if we go outside, we don't bring the issue outside. We don't act like we are a second government. We work in unity with the government once we are in foreign soil. So again, we see very different takes. It's a big contrast. We had a very good long minute, maybe a bit more than a minute, of just carney bashing Pierre Poilievre. And in the meantime, Pierre Poilievre had that window. He had that opportunity to bash carney, but he didn't.
See, I will say this. There is a level in American politics, and it's something I dislike about our politics, and it's really, I call it divisive as much as it is. It's kind of divisive is a polite way of saying it, but reality of it, the situation is, it's kind of like we have a level of blood sports. He's talking to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart is used to seeing blood sports. And the thing about this is, just as a fun fact, as we currently stand, we still have a government shutdown. The Democrats, first time around, when they had 60 days, hurt SNAP benefits for their poor people, who largely consist of their base. Now, the fun fact, second time around, they're not funding DHS, which is the people who do airports, things of that nature. Those people are starting to live paycheck to paycheck. They reluctantly just agreed to actually get payment. And I've heard this. I'm like, interesting. So you're holding poor people hostage. And they're doing it out of the nature of blood sports. And that's a big difference. Now, you guys are not going to see that in Canada, hopefully. Thank God.
They do.
Like, they're going to weaponize. They're going to but they'll always say Republicans and conservatives want to take safety nets. No. We know for every penny or what people spend on social entitlements, that hurts
the economy.
Yes.
Anyway, that was the first clip I wanted to show, and it's really the contrast. We got in one end Mark Carney, that's the main guy, and we got Pierre Poilievre, the classy guy. And now, with that contrast out of the way, let's get into what I decided to clip from the Joe Rogan interview. And I think any Canadian, regardless of your political stripe, you should go take a look to the entire interview. I know it's 2 hours and a half, but I think it's worth your time because you will go at the ballot box either later this year if things fall apart for the liberals, or maybe in 3 years. And I think you guys, everyone, regardless of your political stripe, you should at least see the true Pierre Poilievre. And I do believe in that great interview of 2 hours and a half, we got to see the true Pierre Poilievre. Someone that's cultured, that knows a lot of different things, and that won't speak out on things he doesn't know about. And I think it's a great clip. And if I was a better podcaster, I think I would have clipped more stuff on my own, but I'm kind of lazy. I won't lie, just being honest. So I took clips from different content creators that clip Rogan because I'm lazy, but
If you asked me, I would have looked for good ones from it, you know?
that's fine. I don't want to ask too much of you, but thank you
You
very
don't
much for
have
being
to.
there.
It's easy for me to edit down nonsense. I mean, look.
Next time, actually, what could be interesting? Maybe try to do that for next week. But the big event next week will be or in 2 weeks actually will be what you told me about the white supremacist that's
2
a freak.
weeks, you mean, or you want
Yeah.
the other one?
We want both, and
I'm sorry, the other one is flat. I'm not saying it's crap, but
we
man,
will
I'm
cover both.
gonna tell you.
We will cover both, and as a side project, also scan through what we didn't cover from the Joe Rogan interview that you consider is interesting.
I'm gonna say this though: you gotta take sometimes what Joe Rogan says with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because the issue with this is, God bless Joe Rogan.
But again, I'm telling you, so in 2 weeks,
Yes.
because next week I can, we will talk about both weird guys you mentioned backstage, and we will talk about Joe Rogan more. So let's go over the clip I made.
Saucer.
Oh,
and we've
wow.
got your logo here too. So, but most important of all, we've got a subliminal message, which is the Canadian maple leaf.
Oh,
So
cool.
every time you do a kettlebell swing, you do a snatch, you do a clean, you're going to be seeing that maple leaf, and you're going to be reminding yourself that you need to come back to Canada.
All right.
This is such an awesome way to start the podcast, and you can tell Joe really appreciated it. It's a really cool kettlebell. So the start of this podcast, Pierre goes into the history of kettlebells, which I didn't know anything about either, which is incredibly fascinating.
It turns out they used it as a counterweight at the farmer markets.
So he goes into this whole story of how this originated in Russia, and they use this to counterbalance selling potatoes and stuff, so they know exactly or roughly a good sense of how much everything weighed. Pierre flexes his knowledge here throughout the entire podcast. He is so smart, and he shows how smart he is on so many topics. Very few topics he didn't have much to say on, aside from a couple of specific topics maybe in America they were talking about. This is structured.
And it's very interesting commentary. Again, I thought I caught this, but it's valid point. Like that kettlebell also reflects the part of Pierre Poilievre where Pierre Poilievre is training and working out. He did an entire podcast about workout with some Canadian guy I don't know about, but he is about fitness, and that's why he looks healthy. So that's another aspect of Pierre Poilievre.
So well, Pierre did the majority of fighting for Canadians, getting his message out in the first 1 hour of the podcast, mostly even in the first 30 to 45 minutes, kept it light, loose, conversational. But there's just 2 clips I want to bring up here. So I just want to touch on this one clip here because I've got some polling data that just solidifies everything that Joe Rogan's saying here.
Well, I'm really excited to have you in here because I've seen you speak multiple times, and you're a very reasonable, intelligent person that makes a lot of sense. And that is a rare thing in politics. And I love Canada. Like I just say, I don't go up there anymore, but it's because I think the government went horribly wrong over the last, X amount of years. But the people.
And I agree 100%. Like, we won't do entire streams like today, like in the future or like in the past, because that same government want to silence dissent. So I understand Joe Rogan, and I'm like, you know what? I also plan on leaving Canada eventually. If we don't get our act together, if we don't fix what's wrong with Canada, I'm out, and my wife is with me on that. So we will leave eventually.
Well, the problem is Joe Rogan was also canceled by the left. His big deal is, now, arguably say what he did. Like, one of the biggest problems left people have currently is they don't have a Joe Rogan. They got a Hassan, you know. Like, you gotta understand, take this with a grain of salt. They got a Hassan.
That
Hassan
encourages
just be.
people to
Oh, yeah, no,
do
Hassan
bad
literally.
stuff.
Just went down to Cuba, all right? Thought
He
it'd be
also
fun.
beats down his own dog.
No, he actually went down to Cuba in about a $4,000 outfit,
Wow.
caused a blackout. Yeah, it's not good. The dude decided to go down there. It's like champagne socialism. So, and the worst part I'll say about the Joe Rogan stuff that makes me hard to watch him is because Joe Rogan of now, he's in a way based, but he is also a look. There's no way around it. The dude's almost a massive super stoner. He's like look. I wouldn't be surprised he asked. See, the reason why he won't go up to like Canada, it's because of probably the hate speech laws potentially.
Yeah, and
And
also the censorship, because we do have censorship right now.
And you gotta understand, a lot of this stuff is going to be. Joe Rogan is not. I can't say he's the best, but he's very much. He'll go. Well, technically, he got more famous for seeing DMT angels, but look, the guy himself.
Also, the other thing is the economy is so crap here in Canada, and also the trucker convoy. I'm sure the trucker convoy is one of the factors why Joe Rogan doesn't want to go up north like that. So let's play more of the interview now.
People are amazing. It's like I've always said that Canada has it's like America with like 20% less assholes. Like every time I go, people are so nice. They're like the nicest people.
This is the point I want to bring up. Canadians are so nice, the nicest people.
Of what went wrong for Canada is that people.
And we used to be nice, but now we look around and we are mean. As long as you're American, we will hate you, and that's sad. That goes to TDS. I think the country with the biggest TDS is Canada. It's so tragic because you guys are our neighbors and you guys actually do the things right. And as much as I don't agree with everything Trump is doing,
always.
like I strongly disagree with like the government deciding whether you can have an abortion or not. And I really don't like how Trump is trampling over rights like that. But
I mean, okay, the argument. Let's be honest.
I was against the vaccine mandates, and I feel like I'm just being consistent if I just don't like when government tell me what to do with my body, and I will apply that to women. And even there, as a person, I am pro-life, but I don't want the government to get into that. It's as simple as that. And I will also add this. There are also cases, I think we can have a very nuanced discussion about abortion. I think if there's a Down syndrome detected, I think it's sad if you decide to keep the kid because the kid will never have a good life and they will always rely on their parents. And if they have brother and sister, the brother and sister, they will eventually be forced into the role of taking care of that. And the other case where I'm fine with abortion is if there is a essay that's, if you know what I mean, goes deep. And these are cases I feel like are fair shots. But then if you sleep around and you are pregnant, I'm sorry, but there are other options like wear protection, or you can always put your kids to adoption because there are so many parents that cannot have kids. What do? They try to get adoption. So again, I feel like we can have a very nuanced discussion.
You're talking now. The problem in the U.S. with having I hate to say it, the actual discussion on, look, Roe v. Wade was probably one of single-handedly the worst decisions of that court that made it. No, I mean, this is the prior court. Because one of the court that actually came up with that, I'll have to go back if we ever do which court it was. It was an extremely political court. And It turned out years later, she was used. It was used basically as a political football for leaning people for years. Now, realistically, whether people are and where you're going to see a lot of people that are, and it's very easy to have a normal discussion on this. The trick about a lot of what that is, it's usually being able to accept, yes, even in Texas where I live, they'll make those exceptions. People act like conservatives are going to make people come to. The reason why also Roe v. Wade got overturned is because by all cases, it was always going to be overturned. It never was going to stay 100%. And the decision was always going to go back to the states. That is a big thing people do not understand about our country. States, in most cases, decide the laws. One state, California or New York, could allow gay people to be married. Doesn't matter. But it doesn't mean New Jersey has to honor that agreement.
That's true. I agree with that. I like it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
People don't get that about our system. It's not
It's
like
the same in Canada, but in Canada we got with Trudeau and now Carney a government that wants to override provinces, and it's disgusting. Anyway, let's play more of that.
Rule followers, and they're trusting and kind people, and
That's true.
this wolf in sheep's clothing snuck in and was pretending he was a sweet guy and passing all these crazy laws. And just when we saw what happened with COVID, with what happened,
And again, it was pretending to be sweet because we got all mean and nasty Carney could get in the first hour of the stream. Anyway, let's play more of that. I agree with anything that Joe Rogan is saying, and I think if anyone listened to what Joe Rogan has been saying for a few seconds now and is offended by it, do some introspection, please. So let's play more of that now.
with the truckers and people's accounts getting shut down for donating to the truckers. Like, the whole thing was so concerning because Canada was like a part of America almost. I mean, you're a different country, but it's like you used to be able to go over there with just a driver's license. Such a cool place. I started going to the Montreal Comedy Festival in like 1993.
So we'll stop it there. So basically him mentioning that Canada is such a trusting culture, our nation, this is what the Liberals have weaponized against us. What we have.
Amazing place. It's a great country. And to see it go the way it's been going and sliding the way it's been happening over the last X amount of years.
So it's sliding because a few years ago we had C11 and C18 that's basically creating a dome for news, and that basically lets the government decide what you see in your algorithm, and it manipulates the algorithm, and it also silences and I can't remember the exact word, but it basically shadow bans. It basically shadow bans some of the voice.
The word you are looking for.
Shadow ban. That was what I was searching for.
The word you're kind of almost looking for.
Shadow ban.
And let me help you out. No, there's a word. And when I mention this word, it's going to make 100% to you. Your society, to a point, was a high trust society.
Yeah. But now we shadow ban through our laws some voices, the dissent.
So high trust. Here's the funny thing that comes at the cost of a lot of stuff, and this is where you guys, I will say this, want to believe the best in a lot of people. The problem is not that a high trust society ends the moment people start violating it. Because people do not, let's assume you guys don't want to be anti-immigrant. Okay, fine. Let's assume they say the policy to basically crack down on foreign migrants causing violence. Well, we need to trust them. In the U.S., we have high trust society too, but we also have threat recognition.
We don't have threat recognition here.
So it's kind of the idea.
People are now so brainwashed. They are now so brainwashed that they genuinely believe China is not as bad as the USA when it comes to foreign policies. It's crazy. It's what's going on. We are sliding into the totalitarian mindset. Like, we got cancel culture before everyone else, and not only that, but like, it's been weaponized so much against any form of dissent. It's sliding, and the liberals, they don't realize that because they're part of the issue. They think it's fine. So they
But do you get
think
what I'm saying
censorship is
about
fine.
you guys were a high trust society.
Yeah, and we are still a very high trust.
There's
and
a way
if you look at metrics and numbers, you will also see that we trust a lot more the media than any other country in the world,
Like,
which
there
is
was
crazy.
a time probably, and I'm not saying it's always in areas. Like, I live in an area that my neighbors, I can trust them. Like, I can leave expensive bikes or we can leave stuff out. It's not stolen by our neighbors.
But
Now,
I think it goes back to the Christian roots and the Christian values we used to hold, to be honest.
But you get what I'm saying about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Our neighbors, it's not because we go, oh, because you think it's gonna be this thing. It's like, no, we actually, for the most part, no, we didn't have a lot of homeless people like shitting in our streets, destroying stuff. You have that. Like, the idea is, oh, we didn't have to because you would know you're not going to have people stealing stuff. You're not going to have this. And
Yeah.
the problem now is ultimately, like, I mean, hell, depending on the part of the United States you're in, you just don't. It's like, but we also know when someone looks like they're going to hurt us.
We don't have that here in Canada. Nobody can hurt us. Let's play more.
There's just so many things that concern me. You know, one of the things that really concerns me is this assisted suicide thing.
He goes into talking about MAID here. So Joe Rogan does not hold back on absolutely slamming the government over and over. And
By the way, MAID has reached, I saw something horrible. MAID has reached 100,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
he
Canada
slammed Trudeau
with the
earlier,
maid
then he goes on to
stuff,
slam
it's
Carney. He doesn't
crazy.
name drop
Yeah.
them, but obviously he's talking about stuff that's happening today. It's on Carney's shoulders. And so another clip I wanted to point out here is that Pierre does not attack Carney at all during this podcast. He attacks the state of Canada, the decisions of government, but doesn't name drop, does not directly attack Carney. This is a deliberate strategy.
What did your opponent say that like people that resonated with people? What were they trying to say?
It was funny
It's
because
not accurate.
they all disagreed with my ideas, and they said these are all very scary ideas.
Scary.
And then they said,
growth?
first of all, they said that I had no policies. Then they said they're scary policies, and then they stole my policies right before the election. So, but hey, listen, if the government that's in power now steals all my ideas and does the things I want to do, then I've won.
Right.
That's why I came here. I didn't just do it so that I could have my name on the door. So I keep saying to the Prime Minister, steal my ideas.
Right. But he doesn't want to.
Well, I won't criticize him on foreign soil. I
understand.
But
Good for you.
yeah, I mean, we have a mutual
That's such a
respect.
Canadian thing to do.
That is a very Canadian thing to do.
So polite.
Yeah, so this is a great strategy. I mean, this just makes Pierre look like a prime minister in waiting. They talk about the official opposition and being a prime minister in waiting. This is such an A+ example of how to do a podcast here to the biggest audience on planet Earth. The final clip.
And I agree with that, and we already addressed that a little bit. But again, that segment went on for longer, and let's play more.
I want to show here is right at the end where he gives the full endorsement for Pierre Poilievre. He mentions some of these bad leaders throughout time that don't do good by the people, are obviously just in it for the power.
And
The
so,
problem is history's littered with people like that.
absolutely.
Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan. There's so many people that imposed their will and left a legacy. But is that good?
I don't think it is.
It's not. And it's also, they're dead. This is
They are,
it
exactly.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Nobody walked by one of those magnificent tombs in Petra and said, boy, I'd really like to be inside there.
Exactly. What is happening while you're alive is what's really significant and the most impactful thing. Like, do well, do good for the people. And I think your message resonates with me.
Thank
and
you.
if I was a Canadian, I would vote for you 100%.
Thank you for that. Well, it's it's a privilege to do this work, and I consider it very humbling, and I'm very proud to be Canadian and to take the message of Canada here to our American friends.
Well, I'm glad you're here doing that, and I think this is going to have a big impact. And I
Absolutely.
really hope it moves the needle up in Canada.
Absolutely. And down here, we got to get these tariffs gone.
Yeah.
Get the tariffs gone.
Well, let's work it out.
Right
work
on.
it out. And if you win, I'm coming up there. I promise.
Well, we're going to try to get you up there earlier. I'm going to keep working on you.
Okay.
And you look at that maple leaf on your new kettlebell every day. Eventually, we're gonna work subliminally into your subconscious and get you
Well,
up.
look, like I said, you don't have to sell me on Canada. I love Canada, and I love that gift. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's such a great way to end the podcast, too. Full endorsement from Joe Rogan. Very conversational. No butting heads. Two guys getting along here. They do have a lot in common with martial arts. It's common sense. Trimming down the government. This first comment here sums it up. Got a whole country tuned in, Canada. Thank you so much for giving Pierre this opportunity. Shout out to my fellow Canadians in the comments. May the North be with you. There's a comment about Fidel Castro. I have to show that clip.
And I started reading about different things. I read a biography on Fidel Castro, and then I read
Justin's
some more.
dad.
No, not.
So it was right to trap Pierre Poilievre by saying, "Oh, Trudeau is like Castro," but like Pierre didn't get the bait, and now I must go to Pierre's defense. Pierre needs to win some of the more center-left crowd if he wants to win an election, so he cannot go out and criticize again. Just
Okay, what's the cool clip of him trying to do it? Because in the mind of Americans, when we see a government going bad, we compare it to like Castro or a socialist regime. That's
Like
one
Trudeau.
of the biggest. That's literally like. Well, there's also the joke of Trudeau. Justin Trudeau was actually the son of Fidel Castro.
Yeah,
Have you ever? I know you've heard of it. I
did.
because his mother apparently was known for fidelities. And
But again, there are still some people. They are not that numerous anymore. But there are still some people that like Trudeau, and Pierre Poilievre needs to maximize the chance of getting their votes.
The thing is, okay, saying the stuff correct, but you got to understand. This is something I wish I could impart to Aiden Paladin's audience, because she's too much doing the JQ and the monarchist, everything needs to burn, like we need to go to monarchism. But her audience she kind of gets it with that audience a little bit. With, you can say like demonizing it, because the big thing is going to be interesting with you guys. If I'm not saying that Rupert Lowe in Reform is going to be really, really successful in the UK, but like our midterms are going to hit. Like, if you guys don't have a referendum election and it's like on carney, you guys are pretty much one election from basically liberals having another 5 years.
Actually, what's going on is they have on paper 3 other years. Right now, they have 3 other years if nothing happens. So the next election will be 2029 if nothing happens. But this week was really bad for Carney and the Liberals. Like, one of the not so great, but they were spinning it as good announcement got buried underneath a big scandal where a Liberal MP in committee denied slavery in China against a searcher that actually studied China for like 40 years. And it was really an embarrassment for the Liberals because he was basically trampling all over her, not letting her finish sentences, and being like these conspiracy theorists out there, but to protect China, that was like
okay. Let me say, I know what he's trying to hint at. So, and I'm not saying this. This is how the Chinese work. So the Nazis during World War II didn't immediately kill all of the Jewish prisoners or other prisoners they found dissident. They used them in labor camps.
Yeah, China does that. They have labor camps right now.
The thing is, China goes beyond. So like the Uyghurs that have been persecuted, like, you do movies. The movie Mulan, the new one, was filmed in a district that had one of the Uyghur work camps. And the people were like
boycotting that because
they
of that.
basically, the funny part about this is they do have a labor camp culture of this,
Yeah.
where I'm not saying it's 100% correct.
And what it has created is now they have a liberal MP, and the liberal they used to stand for the humans' right. I think they no longer do that because what they did with the trucker and all of the censorship they try to push, and all of the attempt they do to try to rewrite the charter so they can override the provinces. I think they are no longer that. But for years, the liberals have been taking the credit for being the social justice party, the party that will stand up for the people and the human rights. But then we got an MP of that party that's like, no, there's no such thing as a labor camp. And the worst in that, that's a Chinese MP.
They talk about
No, I'm not done, Dragon.
Sorry.
It's a Chinese MP, and there are a lot of talks of that Chinese MP being a worker for the CCP. So basically a plan from the CCP that works to cover up for the CCP. And the big discipline committee that happened really proved that. The guy is just a CCP plant. And it's such a big scandal. Like, for once, the CBC did its job criticizing that moment. And it blew up. Like, they will lose a lot of support from the diaspora's community that are against China. That's a big voting bloc in Canada. And now they know, okay, there's a liberal right now that's part of the CCP. And it's kind of crazy. It's a big bomb, and I think that's one of the worst week for Carney and the liberals because it's really bad. And now Carney is in a jam because if he decides to exclude Ma from caucus, he loses his majority. And not only he loses his majority, but that may create a by-election because I don't know if Michael Ma, the MP in question, will really stay in parliament if he doesn't have access to minister and the caucus. And if he keeps the guy in the caucus, he sends a message that, yeah, they don't care about humans' rights. And they will try everything they can to hide the MP until the next election. And it's a really a time bomb. Michael Ma is so much trouble right now for the liberals, and they like every second of it. So now, what do you want to say?
The biggest problem with a lot of people, it's not that the Chinese ultimately hide what they do. This is where people misunderstand about China. China themselves, as I've said, WEF actually opposed the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
They openly opposed the Belt and Road. Belt and Road is what the Chinese use, is their policy of going to lesser nations, get influence in them, and then basically get access to resources. Like in Africa, largely they're going to Africa. They're trying to get the rare earth minerals for microchips, lead, whatever the hell they need.
Yeah.
To do stuff. And it comes at the cost of whatever. They get the resources, they take it out, and then they take it back to the motherland or fatherland, depending on the culture, is what they call their homelands. Which, it's not like Canada, they want to do that to you guys. They want you there. The problem is Carney's absolute vision, which is, you gotta give something. And I've said this about Carney. Carney doesn't give. Carney's idea is he's coming to the U.S. on a peaceful term. Like, we're equals. we're that. The
But we are
problem
not in reality.
is
But yeah.
no, Trump is. It's not that Trump looks bad on Canada, because I think if you have the part in the interview about where he's asked what was thought about with Trump, the thing is, Trump is about, you need to give him a deal. He's going to be loud and boisterous first. I think if Poilievre won, this is just a theory I have. If Poilievre won, you would have had some sort of trade deal.
Yeah, if we had Poilievre in charge right now, most of the taxes that burden everyone would have been lifted, and we would have a new pipeline in Alberta. And I don't think the separatist movement in Alberta would have risen to the heights it has right now. And there are so many things that could have happened. I just wish they happened.
The thing you need to look at in your polling, and this is something about polling. This is something I'm looking at in U.S. polling. U.S. polling, we are flat looking at. We're looking at leading the special elections if Democrats take sections of the House, like they think they'll take the House. Now, the thing about this is, you got to pay attention. Like, for us, we have to. But with Poilievre, he has stuff, but he has to leverage. There's a big enough fear, because what hurt him, arguably, even if he goes abroad and says it himself, everyone knows when Trump says, we're going to make you guys the 51st state. Hello, Mike. Hello, Lucifer the Doberman.
Hello there.
I know him as Lucifer the Doberman, but...
Me too. Amazing fellow conservative.
Andrew, but see...
A survivor in the British Columbia chaos.
See, technically, he goes
the
by...
fighter for British Columbia.
He's changed it. We've been around the same circles for a long time.
Michael, I keep seeing you. I'm wondering, would you like to join us for the stream? Would you like to up in chat?
He would be interesting. He is.
I
endorse him.
I endorse him as well. So if you want, do you have a direct line to him so you can send him the?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So that's your invite, Doberman, because now I know you and
I'm not.
I want
You're
you
gonna
on.
have to. I will get a copy. So I'm gonna tell him the other part.
Amazing. I like it.
Okay, I gotta give you a heads up. He has a tendency to be a little bit of a firebrand. But
that's fine, man. I keep seeing it in the chat. I like it. So send him the link.
he's in a lot of chats, but okay. Little fun fact about
Do
him.
you have Discord, Doberman?
I sent it. Yes, I can get you his link.
Yeah. So I
sent him the link.
I will add you to our react.
He actually,
reaction.
a little fun fact, the circles I've been in, he kind of watches Sargon. He'll occasionally peer. Lucifer, check your thing. I see him in 8-inch chat. Sadly, if he agrees with the dirty monarchist, he's bad. But he's a interesting individual. We've traveled. He's in Arch's chats. You're in V's periodically.
So let's play more of the interview now.
Check your Discord, by the way.
No. His dad was Pierre. His dad was Pierre. I had issues with Pierre Trudeau too.
It
Because
is a great conspiracy theory, though.
well,
That's hilarious. He said.
yes.
Why go on now and not during the campaign?
Well, the negotiations are coming up for the USMCA, or the CUSMA as we call it in Canada. I wanted to maximize Canadian leverage going in. And one of the biggest leverage points we have to fight for tariff-free trade, to fight for our auto, steel, aluminum, and lumber workers is the goodwill of the American people. So
I will pause here because the question I'm not quite sure if you all caught it, but it was like, why did you go on the USA right now? Why now? And that's also right after the Rogan interview, and there was also at some point, I'm not quite sure if they will address it, but Rogan was like, I wanted to interview you the first time. Why didn't you do it? And the PR team said, oh yeah, we just didn't have the time. That's the excuse. But yeah, so that's the response right now. And let's play more of that now, because I think that street interview is quite good, and I think CPAC, even if I don't always agree with CPAC, I think CPAC do have great moments here and there.
Use the podcast to argue in favor of removing those tariffs, not just because it's great for Canadian workers, but also because it'll make life more affordable for American consumers.
How do you think you did on the podcast?
I think we had a great conversation. Joe's a great guy, and my mission was very simple: fight for Canada. I presented him with a big maple leaf on his kettlebell, which you'll see every time he works out. He'll think of Canadian workers who did the artisanal craftsmanship on that beautiful piece of equipment, and it was a great chance to fight for removing tariffs so that our people can have jobs and we can launch our economy from currently being the weakest in the G7 to being the strongest.
And this is where clip of Poilievre, and then we'll move on to a couple other things, and we will be done for today, guys.
So the platform is of current interest to you because of tariffs, but in the past you've called the Joe Rogan podcast problematic.
No.
How did you do it?
So the journalist there, if you couldn't...
The question was really like, why joining Joe Rogan problematic podcast? And Pierre Poilievre is like, it's not problematic. And it's kind of funny because even some of the center-left voters, they watch Joe Rogan. And I've heard some people are like, I voted Carney, and now I want to vote Pierre Poilievre. So I think Pierre Poilievre going at Joe Rogan this time around is the perfect timing. And I feel like last year, if he did that, he would have been crucified. And
I think it's the problem of you gotta look at like a lot of what happened with. Okay, so Joe Rogan, to give you a history, because he started losing faith in the Democrats and what they were doing. He basically said that it's bullshit. He said that he actually said it was not productive. So what happens, like all Democrats, they eventually turned on him. He said the Democrats went too liberal. Now, realistically, he got canceled by the left. Now, he was one of the first major people to wake up. I guess, far lefties, but he was always like an independent, yes, excuse his use of drug use and promoting DMT and other things. But he basically caught a lot of flack, and he started praising Trump. So a lot of people started, guess what? Turning on him.
And we got Lucifer, the Doberman, backstage. Welcome to the stream. I keep seeing you in chat. Yes, I can. That's amazing.
Okay,
welcome.
good.
I wish you told me earlier you would always join. Now you're officially a regular, if you want to, of our Saturday streams.
Well, you can call him Michael. You can call him Lucifer the Doberman.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad to hear your voice.
I don't want to be called Lucifer anymore. Lucy.
Fine, I'll call you Mike.
I had to send her to heaven last year.
Oh, that's sad.
So,
I'm sorry, man.
And that is I only named my YouTube account on her because she was the best dog that's ever lived. And but my name
I
is
won't
Michael.
remind you. Yes, I know you.
Animals are amazing, but now I'm glad I have a voice to the text. That's amazing.
Oh, so, good. Yes.
I
Um,
will add you to our React discussion on Discord.
Easy.
Oh, thank you
one-
very much. Good.
and
See, he's
again, I'm glad to hear you. So have you seen the entire Joe Rogan interview?
Yes, I have.
What did you think of it?
And you know, I want to tell you, I met Pierre when he came out to Nanaimo to my job site. I have pictures, and I think he was a little too reserved, but he did what he needed to do. Like, and I think Joe kind of like he played his role the best way that he could. He didn't want to like push him too hard on certain issues, but he did a good job, and he made Pierre look pretty good. Like, and I have some things that I can say about Pierre later on, but let's go for what we know right now. Okay.
Amazing. I like it. I like it.
I have pictures with him, and he's a buff dude.
I'm not
but
surprised.
He's short, and I'm really tall. I'm a really huge guy,
and he's bigger than you because of muscle.
Yeah, every time he looked at me, he's like, "You're so huge." It's like, yeah, I got 3 hugs out of him.
I'm not surprised. I think he is someone that's very reserved in general, but I think it's because he is an introvert most likely. But I think he's someone that seems to be very warm around people, and the way he talks and the way he thinks. But my next question is, I know you watch a lot of the YouTubers I also watch. Did you happen to see the interview last year with Mark Carney talking to the host of he left his podcast, and that was just before the launch of...
It's not a podcast.
No, I didn't. No, I did not.
Okay, well, I will send you a link.
Goodness.
I will send you a link, and
yes.
I basically the first part of this stream right now. Later on, you can go back and watch it. It's like 15 minutes. We cover that, and basically we get to see Carney trashing Pierre Poilievre, and I placed it in contrasting. Pierre Poilievre could have done the same, but he didn't. And I'm like, yeah, not so Canadian, Carney. Anyway, that was...
No, Carney is not Canadian. He's a I don't want to say globalist.
He is.
But
I'm sorry. I'm reading values right now.
He doesn't care about Canada. He doesn't care about Canada. He could care less if
he can get rich through Canada.
Exactly. Oh my! It's mind blowing. And my sister and I got into an argument about this. He's like, Carney has such a great like pedigree. He's helped out the UK so much. It's like, are you serious? Like,
did you spoke to people that were living in the UK when it was?
I know. I had to do like I had to do like an hour long. Like, okay. What did he do? Like, and do you know how hard that is when you have a sister that is upset, and she has a crush on Justin Trudeau.
Oh my!
A serious crush on Justin Trudeau. So she thinks the Liberals are the greatest thing that's ever happened in Canada.
You know what? I'm lucky because I got a sister that's like 20 years younger than me because my mother got me very young. So I'm lucky because right now she's not around the age of politics, but I can bet like in 5 to 10 years it will be L. Like I will try to dodge politics with her because like I know from the get-go she will be one of these far left freaks. But yeah, I get it. And I also have another sister, but we are estranged because I'm not that close from my father, and that's on my father's side. But women are they are indoctrinated. They are like wired to
they have
liberals.
they are. They are every single woman is a leftist until they
except
find
in
a
Africa.
Good man. Until they find a good man, a husband that like, and my daughter right now, she is a she is a far right. She is, and she's like, I'm getting married. I'm gonna start a family. I want a farm. No. And BC and the NDP and the Liberals are like, no, never. I'm like, yes.
But I think it's more
girl.
like really a Western issue because again, my fans say she is further right than me, and she's African, and like you just need to look at the right place. But like I'd say most Canadian and most Westerners are far left, but if you look at the right place, you may end up finding actual women that are very, very traditional. And
Yeah,
I'm not joking.
exactly.
When
Well-
I say she is further right than me, she is. I won't get into too much details, but
See, let
she
me
is.
say this though. Like, he traverses some of the same audience as I do. Now, do I think he agrees too much with the dirty monarchists? And
Nope,
he knows-
nope. Spoon and I are not friends anymore.
Well, what is it? No, how
Spoon and I are not friends.
Look, Aiden's a you forget Aiden
I love
Aiden and
I'm-
Bill are both monarchists.
Okay, I love Bill is awesome because he's just based as fuck, and I've had
Except
a crush
that
on.
last
I've had
one
a
I
crush
saw
on
you
Aiden. I've had a crush on Aiden for like 12 years now. So,
But look, quite
and
honestly,
and listen, one of my exes, who is like the mother of my son, she hated Aiden, and then over time was like, okay, Aiden's awesome. After a while, and so now I'm in a position where I'm like, where if my daughter calls me up and she's watching Broken Crown, and it's like, Aiden's not such a bad person. She might be a little stupid, but she's cool. It's like,
she's never been stupid. The problem with Aiden is look, it's not as I said. Like a lot of stuff before him, he traversed a similar thing like you did. Like I see you in these sometime Arches.
Oh yeah,
not as much as
Amalgamite and Arch and I talk like randomly on Discord all the time, like just randomly, because now I'm now that the what's it called, the scouring is happening, and everyone's and all the books are actually coming out, like random Horus Heresy books are coming out.
Scouring is not out for, but not the
What are you talking about? There's like 3 scouring books now.
Anyways, so
now let's play more of the deal, and you know the deal. You've been around, so if you want to pause, just let me know. We will pause and we will add stuff there. So let's hear more about Pierre Poilievre and his experience.
Hear that?
I haven't done that.
Oh yes, please.
Would you do it again?
I don't see why not.
So he's willing to go back and Rogan.
I thought we had a great conversation about how the United States would be best served by eliminating all the tariffs so that we can make life safer and more affordable for Americans and make paychecks bigger and our economy stronger for Canadians.
Can you see what the journalist is doing here? So they're going to have to basically just attack the subject, Joe Rogan.
And the tariffs aren't a good idea either. We should get the tariffs out, because there's so much we could be doing together as neighbors and partners if we got rid of those tariffs. I think one of the biggest problems in America today, affordability, security, and we can help with both. We knock the tariffs down. Let's look at affordability. We got the 4th biggest supply of oil anywhere on Earth. You guys pay a huge price discount for our oil because we're effectively, all our infrastructure to ship it is north-south, and it's a very unique heavy oil. So,
And if we didn't have the Liberals in charge, we would get a lot more oil out, and I mean more money.
there would be 2 pipelines going east and west, and we'd be able, and Canada would be able to make an extra like $500 billion a year just from all the oil and natural gas that's coming out of Saskatchewan and Alberta. It is mind blowing.
and we could pay off some of the debt, and eventually we could make enough money
Whoa,
to
whoa, whoa, whoa,
make-
whoa, whoa, whoa! Did you just say pay off debt? That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, dude. That's not gonna happen. Have you seen every for the last like 10 years, every single budget has been in a deficit, and it's been the
Always
biggest
bigger.
deficits. It's always bigger. It's so ridiculous.
bigger.
Dude, we have the population of California, and we're pushing more debt than all of the like half of the United States. It is mind blowing. I can't believe it, and it's because they're lining other people's pockets. This is why the Carney, Trudeau, and the WEF, regime is all they're all just getting rich off of us. We can work our asses off and pay our taxes, and it's all going into their pockets. And we're paying $2 a liter for gas.
See,
when
the
we
thing
have the
about-
most amount of gas.
See, here's what it is, right?
It's actually 208 on Vancouver Island right now.
Here's the thing. Like, honestly, the idea, like, even if they did a pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline would have still taken years to be built.
It's actually built right now.
We just don't use it because of our policies.
Yeah, exactly. There's actually a gap between Montana and Alberta right now that they just won't build, and it's already built. It's already going all the way down to Louisiana. It is so stupid, and it's been there for like 12 years now. It's so dumb. Oh. And seriously,
Canada.
It's ours. No, it's as much as ours.
And
as soon as Biden got elected, okay. I don't know what his opinion is, but I know if we come from similar audiences, we're very close. Obama came in and declared war on coal, and when they started fracking and green energy, so he was like, okay, we're not going to do this. And Biden doubled down on that, and that's why a lot of the green energy and that type stuff, when we put our net zero into place, because usually the final death of the Keystone Pipeline, when Biden came in, there were two major deaths of policies. One was going to be the crackdown on the social media, like we were going to have Section 230 reform. Fine.
Yep. Yes.
And then we were also going to have potentially a Keystone Pipeline, but that got murdered as soon as Biden got in.
Yeah, and he promised that he was gonna shut it down, and it was like I can't say a lot, but I'm a radiographer and a pipeline welding inspector. It was already done. Everything was already together, and they just went no afterwards, and they didn't pay anyone.
That's crazy. And just before I play, I will ask you this.
They broke all the contracts as soon as Biden got into office. They broke all the contracts, and there were unions that were like, people were literally like losing their homes because of that. It was like the most mind-blowing thing. Like, I was sitting in my place, I was sitting in my house, and I'm like, how is this actually fucking happening? And there was no like they weren't paying anyone out, saying, okay, well, we're not doing this, and we'll just pay you out for your contracts. No, they just said no. That's so I had to sit in my house and go, I guess I'm not getting paid.
Wow. That's disgusting. That's sad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
no,
to
it's
hear
not
that, man.
It's not disgusting, dude. It was one of those times where you're like, fuck, I'm fuck.
But I will ask you this: did you happen to read the book Values of Marxist Carney? Have you read it?
No, I have not. No, I have not.
I'm 100 page into it, and my head hurts.
I want. Can you link?
I will send you pictures and some of my notes because I got a
would
physical
listen.
book.
I would listen to it on audiobook if you send it to me.
I got a physical copy, but I will send you some of the pictures I took. It's disgusting. What I can say, without taking too much time on that, he promotes social credit and surveillance state.
Shocking.
He wants centralized power.
Shocking.
He came out of the UK though. Here's
Oh
the
yeah.
thing about,
Who would think that the mentor of Carney was the leader of the World Economic Forum, who stole all his money from Jews during the war. And oh my God, who would have thought that
he wants to kill the market in a way that everyone pays a carbon tax, and those that cannot afford it cannot survive.
So the thing about like Carney,
shocking.
See, I don't know, Michael. How close are you? How much did you know of Carney? Because I heard about.
I know his entire family.
Okay, see, here's the funny thing. I heard about him before.
Way too much research into.
I've heard more about him when he was through the Lotus Eaters back before the JQ crap has consumed their souls.
Do you know about his son going to the Tavistock clinic and becoming trans?
No.
He sent his son to the
and that's another now.
The biggest trans clinic ever, and turned him trans.
Well, what if he okay?
Yeah, and
honest discussion is if he was actually non-binary. It goes usually the cycle. They go non-binary.
Well, if you're 9 years old, there's no such thing as being 9 years old and non-binary. If you send a 9-year-old to go to a clinic that turns people trans and send them there for 3 years, who would think that they would come out as, oh, I'm a woman now, I'm a girl?
You know what?
Yeah, I know.
I heard his father was someone very different from him, and I feel like he did all of that out of spite for his father. And not only that, but Carney was probably one of the nerds that was very smart at school, but awkward socially, and he could not have friends. And now he gets the spotlight because of his brain, and he likes it. That's my theory.
To be honest, Carney is really good at economics.
Yeah, he's smart.
When it is like to take care of like your small group of people. He's not a global, like he's not a country like economist, but he's really good at running a company that is taking care of rich people's money.
Yeah,
he's really good at that.
I think from what even I heard of, like from him, from on Lotus Eaters, was it's kind of like when he was the head of, I guess, the governor of the banking. I think that's what they call that position.
Yeah.
The Lord Governor, like I forget what they.
Yep.
Forgive me for not knowing it. Like I only know of this because American versus So he was the head. The thing about this is he wasn't remarkable. It really is funny about Carney now that I think about it. I compare it to. It's like when Obama was the head of the Harvard Law Review. He was the best ever. He was the better. the best one ever. And then when they asked the people at the head of the Harvard Law Review, he was incredibly average.
Yeah, exactly. They prop them up so much. This is why when I talked with my sister about Carney, and it was like, oh, he was the greatest thing ever. Okay, what did he do?
What?
He's a liberal. That's
Well,
all
he was there. Yeah, exactly. He was there. Well, they increased the debt all this much, and they paid off a whole bunch of things that all of a sudden costed them a whole bunch more. It's like, yeah, but he was really he was in charge, and he took care of business. It's like, if you're taking care of business and you're costing everyone more money than before that you came into power, how is that a good thing?
It's like, and in the UK, apparently, what he did, he pushed the inflation through the roof, and he basically destroyed the middle class, and he pushed further the rich. And if the middle class is a casualty, that imagine the lower class.
He also increased the amount of money that was going to illegal immigrants that were coming into the UK. So it costed more. There was more debt. The middle and lower class were actually getting taxed the fuck out of like any kind of like you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel ever again. And they're like, oh yeah, this is us. Hey, this is the guy we need as our prime minister.
Welcome to Canada.
Oh my fucking god! Like, are you fucking serious? It's only because he's part of the Liberal Party. That's the only reason.
The only reason he was in the House of, I wouldn't say it was a House of Lords because he was that. The interesting part about a lot of that is, yes, was he always? I said look, Michael, I said this to him when he got elected. I said he is a status quo for the Liberals because you're NDP. Now you can back me. You can back me up. Back me up or conflict me on this. I compare your NDP to our far left Democrats who are trying to go socialist and Marxist.
They are
basically the modern Democrats.
Yes,
and Avi Lois is tracked to be the next leader of the NDP, and he's a full-on communist.
Yes.
Oh, hey, can I introduce you to the modern Democrats who want a bunch of Mamdanis to run in the midterms now?
Oh my God! Do you know? I've been talking with Sean Fitzgerald, and Devin Tracy a lot lately, and hearing about what's going on in New York is I feel so.
It's hilarious.
Oh my God! It
That's
should
a clown
be.
show.
It should be everyone should be watching what's going on in New York. And
I heard one of the Canadian city. I can't remember if it's Toronto or somewhere in BC, but apparently one of the cities wants city funded grocery stores.
That's Vancouver. That's Vancouver.
By the way, the fun fact about here's a fun fact about
it's fucking Vancouver.
So here's the thing. The fun fact about a lot of Mamdani's policies, by the way, Governor I want to say it's Governor Hagel. Don't quote me on the name because I'm terrible. The governor of New York. Hope. She basically said he wants to do free buses, free ferries, all of this. Said how much it's going to cost. She said, "We don't got the money for this."
You're
on your own.
No, he was gonna double the property tax in New York to pay for it, and she was like, and she literally said to him, with cameras on, it's like, "You're stupid. That ain't gonna happen."
You know what?
Everyone's gonna leave.
Yeah, not only that, but those who stay that cannot sell, they won't be able to really make money, and even the bank may end up like suffering from that trap. It's like it's shade of effect you don't want.
No, it's so silly. I swear to God, the people that voted Mamdani in don't have any idea what it takes to run New York. And the funniest thing is Trump saved New York back in the late 80s because he wanted to bring more, like build more houses, make sure all the what's it called, the property taxes were low, make sure everyone could like actually build on low interest rates, and keep the gangsters from like overpricing everything. And that's the thing. New York is covered with gangsters.
Bullshit.
It is covered with gangsters. And
No.
that's the thing.
Do you know what's bullshit about half of what you?
So is Vancouver.
I'm telling you,
Chinese gangsters.
I'm telling you that he said he was anti-mob because there's a whole discussion I had about.
No, he's not anti-mob. He is not. He is.
So,
he is.
because
he
we
is.
stray away,
He is
I'll-
just.
Never mind. We'll
He
have to
just
have
deals with them. He just deals with them. He's
Yeah.
not
I
pro
will
them,
say one
he
last
just
thing.
deals with them.
I will
'Cause
say
that's-
one
you
last
have
thing
to do it.
before we play, because it came to my mind, and we will have a good laugh. So, Michael, if you know someone with TDS, you can let them know.
Oh, yeah.
Let them know
Oh, yeah.
that the liberals now with C3 will potentially give to 13,000 American Canadian citizenship. Therefore, these people with TDS, their tax will pay for.
Can we kick
these
out? Can we kick out? Can
13,000?
we kick out 100,000 Indians and bring in any Americans that want to come up? Any Americans that want to come up? That's fine with me. But
do
as
you
long
get
as we
what
kick
I
out
tried to tell you?
100,000.
The chain migration bill gave citizenship to so many people that now there are 13,000. I'm not joking. 13,000 cases under review of American from the States that claim Canadian citizenship.
Are
through C3? The chain migration bill. Did you
I
hear
believe
about
it.
C3?
I actually think it's probably more than that, but
but
as long as we kick out like 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 Indians, that's fine.
But
with me. I'm
do
fine
you
with
realize
that.
what I'm saying? You have
You're
these
not going to
CBS
get
people.
but you're not going to get the. Here's the thing, and this is where we'd have to educate him because I've educated him on some of the.
We need to
facts,
ban Indians from
No,
and
good luck to you.
Nigerians.
Here's something I said too. Here's the thing about a lot of that bill. Even I told him the thing about Canada is if the UK. I said this earlier.
Are you
UK
gonna?
has to deal with. Hear me out. UK has to deal with a lot of Pakistani and Muslim immigrants of sorts. Some
Yes.
Indians, but largely Muslim. They're going to be Pakistani. They're going to be that. The problem with you guys, you guys are already a minority white nation.
Yeah.
So
Almost.
the question is who's going to win? The Chinese or the Indians? Take your pick.
West Coast is China. Chinese are like just like buying up all the property, but Indians are just coming in.
Canada.
There's like 100,000 a year at a minimum that are not documented, and then there's like 400,000 that are like, hey, you can come in and do work for us, and then they lie about their status, and all of a sudden you got 25 people that are like sitting in trucks that are driving all across in the same truck over and over and over and over. And then you find out that there's 70 of them.
Canada will have a civil war before the USA because we have
Yes.
no social cohesion whatsoever.
Do you know what? Do you know what's going to happen? Do you know what's going to happen?
The Chinese versus the Indians.
Do you know what? The natives in Quebec and the natives in BC will start a fight. They will. Trust me. And they're allowed to have weapons.
Canada is a joke.
I know. Dude, when you go fishing and you see a guy like him and his family are pulling up crab traps, and I'm like, hey, that one's too small. He's like, yeah. What color's my skin? And then fucks off. It's like, okay, we're in a clown world right now.
Welcome to Canada.
We're in a clown
we
world.
accept, unfortunately, and for now, a price discount on the oil we send you, which can translate into more jobs and paychecks, but also lower energy prices. You've got $5 a gallon right now in lots of places in America. You're buying, I want to produce more so we can sell 2 million more barrels of Canadian oil into the U.S. market. And then there's housing. You've got huge housing pressures on young people. They can't afford a place to live. We're the biggest supplier of lumber for home building of any country that imports to the United States, exports to the United States. We've got very low cost, but high quality softwood lumber we could be shipping. Or the best selling truck in America for 45 years now is the Ford Series. It's aluminum. It's a military grade aluminum body. You guys can't make enough aluminum here. You don't have enough bauxite or electricity to convert it. I got involved in politics, and I started reading about different things. I read a biography on Fidel Castro, and then I read
the same. I feel like he shows actual leadership, and he's like, there's a solution, there's hope. You just need to do the right thing. We have the right things, we just don't have the right leadership. That is
exactly right. You hit the nail on the head right there. I think it actually stuns me that he isn't the prime minister right now, but it is all about
I wish he was,
Ontario,
but the thing is,
and
Canada
Quebec.
is not ready for that. That's the sad part.
But
See,
look,
if
you
Alberta,
got too many devs. You got way too many devs.
If Alberta left and was its own country, boy,
it'd be prosperous.
Canada, we'd be way different. Oh, Alberta would be the fifth largest economy in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe what would stop it really is the access to tidewater, but even there, they have so much resources and they are so smart that they would find a way. Like they would deal with BC and it would be like, you have this and you give us access to water. That's as simple as that.
And I know I told you guys this before, but if Alberta separated,
Canada is good.
I would sell and move back. I would move back.
Same.
Yeah.
I don't think I would actually sell because I think what I would do is I would buy a house or something in Alberta. I would move there, but I would keep my condo only because I know my mother would never leave Quebec, unfortunately, because she's one of these NPCs. At least she is kind of smart than the average NPC because she voted conservative last time, but it's only because I convinced her. And I think she's just surrounded by NPCs. I won't speak too much on that on stream.
So many of us are. So many of us are.
When you're surrounded by NPCs, you become one.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, understandable. And you can't hate on a person for being like that, but it's small steps. You got to take the small steps.
Yeah,
and just like ensure that what is going on is going to be the best for what we need in the future. But that's how do you do that in like the how do you convince people of the small steps? That's the problem.
You need to have different talks
right
with them.
You have one too many people. Because look, how long, Michael, have we seen Dev just spiral
Dude,
down?
I was about to say that Dev is the perfect example.
Dev is basically the state.
How you?
I've had this argument. Okay, help me out here. And this is something about. Here, no, let's say this is about how he's going to learn, because people who really don't know about Short Fat Otaku or Dev, we said, and this comes out of people who have watched him for years, we have said he likes the state boot. He literally will find one thread to justify the state boot.
That's the reason why he didn't make the trucker video, because he would have to go against the government and say that they did some bad shit.
Yes.
That's the reason. And he sat on it for so long. He made the video and it was like, oh fuck,
he said he was gonna be prosecuted. That's actually one of the reasons he never said. And then
let's talk about how fucked up that is. If you're going to get prosecuted for making a video about how fucked up the government was during a protest.
Welcome to Canada.
I know.
Okay,
I
here's
know.
the thing is,
tyranny incoming, folks.
He actually
tyranny pays here. Tyranny pays here.
He actually called himself a classical liberal for many years.
Oh, and now you know Arch and Sargon
ragged on him for that
shit.
Fun of it. And then do you remember the discussions he had on the Hunter Biden laptops? The Hunter Biden laptops were nothing.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh,
there is this guy is like everything we said. And then I shit you not, Multi. He, as soon as he did the Renee Good video, we already knew what he was going to say. Someone came into Arch's stream that day. It happened to be live. He goes, Archie, Dev just did his video in Renee Good. We all said Dev is going to pull a Dev.
Yeah. dude. And okay, and this is what Arch and I talked about this, and it's like,
I'm surprised Arch DMs anybody.
If we can tell your opinion before you say it, you are just an NPC. And what the fuck's the point? What is the fucking point of you even saying anything anymore? It's like, Amalgamite laughed her ass off. It's like, you're talking about Dev. Yes.
I'm
sorry. Talking about Dev.
What
Destiny? Because he just now that he's on the Destiny crew with
Wick,
Kayla, and Wick, we know what they're gonna say. What's the point of even listening to them if we know what you're going to say?
So he's on the thing with Wick. I saw that stuff he's promoted. By the way, there's a whole discussion with you saying Amalgamite's based, but that's an argument for not today.
But I gotta say this before we play more.
She's a girl.
I'm very sad because, I'm from Quebec, and I see what's going on here, and we are the most... Well, I think BC took the crown, but I think we are the second most woke province in Canada. Like, I think BC took the cake with the freaking land acknowledgement.
BC is. But
Quebec is second.
Some of the most based people I know are in Alberta and Quebec.
Okay,
that's a matter.
Then when you go to Montreal or Quebec City, then you get to the crazy woke people. Like,
Montreal is so Dev and Dave
there's also in Beauce, that's the part like an hour and a half of car from Quebec. It's also very woke, and it's kind of funny because but you know what's funny? It's mostly the schools in the cities in Beauce. So if you go anywhere outside of a city in Beauce, you're fine. Like, you have base people.
Yeah.
But the moment you go in the two cities in Beauce, it's like the land of the woke.
Like
I got parts of my family
in BC.
Parts of my family that's in Beauce, and it's just beyond me. I don't get it. And there's also Gatineau that's like borderline
Oh,
Ottawa. That's very like very leftist, like crazy.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Thank you for
how-
telling me. I'm glad you're telling me about this.
Quebec is cooked, and I'm not
Yeah, I
joking
know, I know.
because like,
how much is he could testify because I haven't talked to him in a while. How much? Because Multi doesn't know about how bad progressives infiltrate. How bad have the progressives gotten into Canada, Michael?
Oh, they're
true Quebec
they
is
are
Ontario.
they control.
He doesn't know what progressives
they-
are.
No, they control so much. It is ridiculous. When okay, so Edmonton, when I was like living my life, the best life ever, the NDP won the election in Alberta because the Conservatives were like, well, we control everything. And then all of a sudden, it was just city people. They voted in the communists. It is so silly. It blew my mind. And I was actually talking with lots of because I was a union head at the time, and I was not communist. I was not leftist, but I thought, hey, we're part of the Steelworkers Union. Let's take care of each other. Everyone was like, let's go far left.
And
What?
I will
How?
I will also
How?
add this before we play. I will give you a bit of context on why I think Quebec is the most cooked and the most progressive right after BC. We have unions for minimum wage jobs. This is all unionized.
How?
We are.
How?
I don't know.
How is that possible? How is that possible? That's like
Actually,
people
like-
at Starbucks wanting a union. It makes no sense.
I should preference this. What we call what me and him probably call progressives are probably because Multi just thinks of far left. When I talk about on the scale, and this is something, if we ever explain this to you, Multi, we come from where there's liberal, independent, libertarian, and conservative on a scale.
Yeah, but let me continue. So not only we are the most unionized, but we never, I'm not joking, we never had a conservative government at the provincial level. And
Alberta.
Each single time our center or center left government decide to pick a turn right, you know how they are punished? They are destroyed. So 2014, we had the liberals that were like center left, and they were like, you know what? Let's do some cuts. Let's do austerity. They tanked. They tanked so bad.
The worst
They
word
lost-
you could
they-
ever say.
They lost party status in 2014, and they had a majority prior, and they were like in power for like 8 years prior, but they tanked so badly they lost party status, and one of the third, fourth rate party became the leading party, and like it's very weird because we at our assembly we have like 5 different semi big parties, and the liberals just got ousted out of the map in 2014. And what happened? A center left party entered from 2014 to this year. They will lose power. But what happened in the last 2 years ish? They started being more right. They were like, let's privatize electricity, let's privatize that, let's privatize this. And people are not having it. They are getting demolished. And now Logo, the guy in charge of gets the Trudeau treatment where he is ousted out because like people don't like him taking that right turn.
What do you guys call? What would you call? I see. He knows I speak from an American, where we have left, right, and center. Now, I will say this before we do move on. When we talk about progressives, you got to think of progressives are the movement that wants to destroy not just the status quo. They
But
are the
Western
ones last
mindset.
century, literally last century, because with Sorter, right? Because when Sorter, I'm going to go over like what progressives are one day, really. They are the people who demolished the social norms to establish it. And the funny thing is, they were the ones pushing the abolishment of basically, they were going to go like, gay rights aren't good enough. And then they're the ones who promoted the QIA plus agenda. They obliterate that, and then they expect, because they know conservatives will actually just go, we're going to let you practice.
But I will also add this as one last time, or one last thing for why we are so progressive. Well, the only, and I'm not joking, the only right-leaning position we have as a province is on immigration. And it's not even because we want, like, to be only white. It's because we want to protect French. And there's also that big thing that I almost forgot. French people from France.
Not gonna hate on that.
French people from France, they want the USA, but they don't speak English. So they're like, oh, we will go to the closest thing to that, and it's Quebec. So all of these French leftists, they end up being in Quebec. So like, most of the devil is like left leaning. As simple as that. And when it comes to immigration, most of the people in the cities, Quebec, Montreal, and the two cities in both that I mentioned, are pro massive immigration. They don't care if they're flooded. It's how weird this is. And the only I don't know. It's beyond me. I think the only city that's quite big in Quebec that I don't quite know their position on immigration would be Rimouski. I don't know the word in English, but that's basically I think it's like the third or the fourth biggest city in Quebec. This place, I'm not quite sure what's their stance on immigration, but I do know they also vote conservative. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are probably the only
more Quebec cities voting conservative, please.
Quebec and Montreal, they will never vote conservative.
But how is Bloc? How is the Bloc not conservative?
They are center left. If the Bloc wasn't there, I will tell you this.
But they don't want immigrants.
Yeah, I know.
The Bloc doesn't want it, but why?
I know.
Why would they like? Why would they want the leftist vote?
They are center left, and I will also tell you this: if the Bloc
Please
wasn't
explain
there,
it to me. Please explain.
If
I've
the Bloc
never
wasn't
understood
there,
this.
If the Bloc wasn't there, I will tell you what happens. Right now, they have 22 seats. I think if the Bloc wasn't there, probably 5 of these 22 seats would go to conservative.
Yes.
But the 17 others, they would be split between liberals and NDP.
Oh,
I'm telling you, this is exactly what would happen.
I still can't believe that NDP is allowed to be a party in
One
Canada.
of the seats of NDP right now, they have 7 seats. One of the seats is in Montreal, man.
I know.
Montreal is red.
There's
one spot in Montreal.
I know. It's so dumb. It is so
Look,
dumb.
when you have, when you have 4 flavors during that election, I looked over it. I'm like sometimes thankful that the American system only has. We
need a Rupert Lowe in Canada.
No,
I know you're gonna hate me for saying it, but we need a Rupert Lowe.
Okay, I don't know enough about that.
I will tell you this. Last municipal election in Montreal, we had 5 big parties. 4 out of these
Are you
5.
doxing yourself?
I'm not saying where I am from Montreal, but
okay.
Montreal, we had 5 municipal party in the election. 4 out of 5 were freaking leftists.
Oh my god.
And the 5th one was center right.
No.
It wasn't even far right.
Like
and you
there's
know
no
how
choice.
much they
So
pulled?
there's no choice. There was no choice.
The center right, they pulled 10% of the votes. They arrived third place.
When it comes to leftists, you might as well just choose the best looking one. That's the only choice you have.
Look, I said
one-
during that primary
because they're
for the
fucking,
prime minister.
they're all fucking psychopaths.
The one center right party arrived third place in Montreal.
Oh
this
my
is
god!
all what Montreal is.
Please,
minister
please tell me a woman. Please tell me a woman got elected.
Yeah, that's a woman.
Yes, I knew it.
And that's an immigrant.
I knew it.
She's Spanish, bro. She's like from both of these.
By the way, I said during the prime minister.
I bet she's pretty. I bet she's pretty.
Not that much, but I will tell you this: she was a federal liberal.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
That was a federal liberal.
Look, I basically said during the carney. No, I'll say this. During the funny part about, I said, like, looking at the Poilievre versus all the people up there that were running for prime minister, whatever, I said, you guys have 4 flavors of liberal and 1 flavor of conservative.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, you guys are screwed.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, seriously, I'm looking at pictures of her. She's gorgeous. She is not terrible looking.
I will also say this. So
I would.
To give you an idea,
Sayora Martinez Federa.
Yeah.
I would.
I will tell you this. So at the provincial level, we have 5 parties, and the Conservative throughout history, they've been in almost every election. They had like 3 or 4 different leaders in the last like 30-ish years. They never, I'm not joking, they never held a single seat at the provincial level.
Of course not.
Never.
No, of course they don't.
Never. It's not like
it's delusional to think that they would.
And the worst of that, we got like a 6 or 7 party that's not even the map, and most people don't know about that party. I know because I look around and I'm curious, but there's I think it's like a 6th or 7th rate party. The People Party is in Quebec, and they pull like not even 1%.
Yeah. The Parti Québécois?
No, People's Party. It's like Maxime Bernier Party, but in Quebec.
Oh, no.
They don't even pull 1%.
Okay.
They pull like 0 point something.
I want to tell you, I met him. He's actually a really good guy, and we went out fishing together, and he was a really nice guy. And
I cannot.
He was. I wish he had more popularity than he does.
I don't, because I will be honest, created the PPC out of spite because he wasn't named
do you know what happened?
2019, it was him or Andrew Scheer. Scheer got it, and he was pissed, and he decided to start the PPC.
That's when. Oh my god! I really wanted him to win.
Imagine
and
if we had 1% from the PPC going to the Conservative.
Shut up! That's exactly what I was saying. Fuck! He literally.
But he knows that. He don't care. He wants revenge.
Two of the Conservatives that were on Vancouver Island lost because the PPC stole their votes. So I was like, damn it,
Maxim.
I want to help you,
But you don't help yourself.
but you're literally the you stopped us. Oh my god.
Like,
Oh my
if
God.
there's a split on the left, it's normal because we are far left country. But like,
Okay,
if the
but
moment there's
No,
a
we
split
are
on the
not.
right,
No, we are
cooked.
not. We are not a
We
far
are-
left country.
Okay, doesn't
You're
the
not a
bloc
far left
sabotage
country.
the liberals?
What?
Bloc sabotages liberals usually.
Yeah,
Yes.
that-
They're
that's what I'm
Yes, they
saying.
sabotaging-
do. Yes, they do. They're the
They're center
kingmakers.
left.
No, they're the kingmakers because
Yeah.
whenever they decide to vote for whatever's going on, they get to decide.
Yeah,
That's what happens. The block is, and it is kind of stupid.
I agree.
they-
But again, I'm
what-
telling you, the bloc needs to be there. Otherwise, we are not seeing a conservative government.
Well,
in the
I
US.
sure as fuck would wish the block was right wing.
Me too, but
I
they're
wish
not.
the block was right wing.
But again, they split the level.
Fucking stupid, and they are right wing, but they keep voting left wing all the
The
time.
only right wing they have is immigration. Again, they like social programs. They like social safety nets. It's
because Alberta pays for them.
and they also hate religion because of our quiet
Yeah.
revolution. So that's what I'm
It's
saying.
so
Like
fun.
the
It
bloc
is so silly.
splits, the bloc splits the left, right, and that's fine.
Justin's
Somewhere.
dad.
No, not Justin's dad.
Right?
No. His
You
dad
sure?
was Pierre. His dad was Pierre. I had issues with Pierre Trudeau too
It
because
is a great conspiracy theory, though.
Oh yeah.
well, it is a hell of a. I don't think it's a true one though. His dad is Pierre.
Unfortunately.
His dad.
I like how Joe pushed that Justin Trudeau was
Castro's son.
Castro's son. Yeah, I like that. I laughed my ass off, and I actually sent a clip of that to a bunch of friends of mine, and they were like, "How is he not? Look at him!" And then the pictures of Castro and Trudeau.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke.
Okay, look, the idea, that's what I
Come on.
told him was Joe Rogan. I was going to tell him, the thing about Joe Rogan, I have a hard time taking seriously because of all the conspiracy theories. But the idea that he is Castro's son, I'm like, that's actually popular in the U.S. It's really funny how
It's popular in the world, dude. When you look at the pictures, it's kind of silly, and because his dad's mom, because his mom
the
was, like,
wife basically
was
cheated on
talking
him.
about his mom was banging so many famous people, and David Bowie and what's his name from the oh god, what's that other rock band?
I don't know,
Oh, yeah.
but I guess we'll play if you
But-
remember. Let
But
us know.
she was talking about how awesome it was, and we were on an island together, and I had sex with the best looking men in the world. Blah blah blah. David. Fuck. Who is that? Who's?
What band? Okay, just type it in if you think it.
I'm
He's
doing
doing
it
it, he's
right
doing
now.
It was very
Continue.
controversial where I grew up because he did a lot of damage to the oil sector, and we're from oil country. And so that was one of the things that I felt kind of resentful about the national government. And one of the reasons I got involved is because the West
Rolling
deserved
Stones.
a fairer deal.
The Rolling
And
Stones.
but I read a lot of
Mick
books like,
Jagger.
Milton Friedman,
Mick Jagger.
Capitalism,
Yes.
Freedom, and I came to develop a philosophy
Mick Jagger
based
and
on just
David
maximizing personal, financial, religious freedom. Let people make their own decisions.
Correct about
And that animated
Sorry.
me to get involved in politics and fight for that, and I've been doing it ever since.
Is that any organization that gets formed wants to grow, and you get
Right.
financial incentives and then you hire more people, and then it gets bigger, and then what do you have to do? Well, you have to keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
What are you doing? You're killing people. So you're going to kill more people because you're actually financially incentivized to put more people through this program and end their lives. That's very sad.
I think we have to get to a point where people have the freedom to make their own decisions, but they also have hope that there is an option for them.
Yeah,
and
give
that's what
them
we're trying
a pathway. And like the exercise thing is not just give them control of their life. It makes them happier. It shows there's.
Joe is actually telling him what he needs to say, because Pierre was trying to deflect, and Joe was like, no. Sometimes people need to die. Sometimes people need to die, and they do. They do. Yeah. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Sometimes people need to die to make the world a better place.
But okay, what do you think of?
I'm not joking.
Okay,
I know.
I was gonna
That's
ask.
why I'm laughing. I know.
Okay, what do you think? Okay, Michael, what do you think about? I've said this before. What do you think of Canada's stance on the harm reduction?
No, yeah. You're going to talk about MAID, aren't you?
Now I'm talking the harm reduction fallacy.
Harm reduction.
They were the first. They were the first.
No.
They were the first to say we need to give clean needles and stuff, and then it just
kick that. No, I think. Oh fuck!
Fix the people.
I'm going to get in trouble. I think we should give them fentanyl that is 100% and let them have and give them clean needles. It will end them real quick. I think they should not be part of our society. And we should just give them exactly what they want and let them. If they they die. Oh no!
It's so sad.
No. So sad. Exactly.
Been studies that show it's much more effective than antidepressants.
Absolutely. Well, it's first of all, there's the physiological side, which affects the brain, but it's also the sensation of discomfort that you push through, knowing that you have to focus on the thing you have to do. And that, I think, it helps us in anything we're encountering, whether you're going through a divorce or a bankruptcy or...
What did you cut off? What drug is he mentioning?
Fentanyl.
MAID and
fentanyl.
Suicide and...
No, what is it?
Oh, fentanyl. Oh, you're right. I think it's fentanyl. And now he's basically promoting fitness over substance use.
Okay, good. I thought it was going to be like...
Can we kidnap a whole bunch of people that are addicts and get them into the gym? And then just work hard with them?
It won't happen.
I think they'll die from the effort, bro.
Where we can work out hard together, and all the ones that don't want to do it,
you just give them enough so they OD.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
An injury or an illness, if you know that pushing through to the other side because you've got a meaning there, that can give people hope for a better life. My favorite psychologist is Viktor Frankl, and he developed this Lagos treatment, which was basically giving people a sense of meaning. He survived the Holocaust in the concentration camp because he had a sense of meaning that he wanted. His book was stolen from him in the concentration camp about this theory, and he wanted to live on so he could survive and write that book. And then he found in his teaching that it wasn't so much people's circumstances that determined their happiness, it was whether they had a meaning in life.
Narrative in America. And the narrative is that you were about to win and your party was about to win, but then Trump came along and said he was going to turn Canada into a 51st state. And everybody went crazy. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say they went crazy. I mean, they
got very upset.
They should be upset, though. I mean,
it's a crazy thing to say.
No,
it is a crazy thing to say. Canada's not for sale. We're never going to.
I tried to tell him that it was going to be a problem with the Trump issue. And I don't whatever he did, it was not gonna, it wasn't gonna work. It was so sad. And everyone in BC, Ontario, and Quebec just hated Trump so much that there was nothing that Pierre could say would
To give you an
would
idea,
convince him.
Doberman, I know conservative in Quebec. We are not that many, but some of us in Quebec have TDS. When a conservative has TDS, bro, imagine the left. They're losing
Bro,
it. Like,
yes, yeah, dude. I don't like Trump. I don't like him.
imagine the
But
left.
I'm not gonna hit. But I think he's better for.
Yeah,
I think he would be a better
Right.
friend to Canada
yeah.
than Kamala would be.
I
Fuck, it's mind blowing that anyone
Okay.
in Quebec or Ontario would think that shit. That
Okay,
Kamala
hear me out.
would be
The
better.
problem with TDS is there
It's
is something.
delusional.
Here's
Because it's
where I say
delusional.
this.
it's a mental illness. We will
Here's
remember
what-
that for the
here's
That's why,
what
distant
this
yeah,
future.
is.
Dev. It's Dev. Just
Okay,
think
like-
about it. That's
Oh
that
no,
is-
it does go
is
deeper
Dev.
than what happened with Deb. Like the problem with I've actually Sorter said it's his hatred of rightoids, but I don't think rightoids exist. But that's not an argument for today. But the thing about TDS is, like when Trump said we're going to get Greenland, he should have just said Russia and China. If you actually looked at what the Russian and the Chinese were doing up by Greenland, messing with cables and pipelines and stuff, potentially, it's like that would easily secure anything. Like, and the EU was lying about basically anything. That's why he actually wanted to station forces on the up in Greenland. Basically, in the UK, they were seizing Russian fishing vessels, tankers, because last year, when people didn't know before Trump got in, under
We've
Biden,
had Canada and United
they
States
were trying to
had-
cut cables underneath the water.
Oh, in the
Greenland.
by Denmark,
By
and stuff
Greenland,
like that.
yes, up there. Yes.
No, but Canada and United States have had bases in Greenland since the 50s. We literally control that place. Denmark doesn't control anything on Greenland. It should be the United States and Canada controlling it. But we just say Denmark control it. It's like, oh, you
That's
own
a
it.
fight over
Okay,
it.
that's
It's just a
fine.
piece of
It's like you own this is the Ferrari you own, and I drive it every day.
Basically, you got
that kind of shit.
When he said we want Canada as a 51st state, the average American goes, because I've explained to Multi to start, the reason why when he went on with Jon Stewart has the image of Canadians as they are out of South Park.
Okay, you're right.
That's
you're right.
true.
Yeah, I was about to correct you, but you got it right there. Yes, that's right.
You know it too. I know
it. Yes, I agree. Yes, I'm glad you put it so. That was actually a very succinct.
Many people,
succinct way to say it too.
What Matt Stone, they haven't where
think that you would have said that.
Canada is in the South Park universe a 8-bit or 16-bit video game where they're 2D figures that talk out of the sides of their mouths.
Okay, are we gonna have a fight now? You know I'm kidding.
I can agree with that. I think
you're
most
talking
Canadian
to two
are
Canadians.
NPCs. I think most
I
Canadian are
know.
NPCs.
I
So
wish
I'm on board with that.
I wish he was fucking wrong. Fuck.
But that was Matt Stone and Trey
Stop it.
Parker who did
Stop
that.
it.
Sorry.
Fuck.
Ignore me.
I fucking hate it.
Be the
No,
51st
I
state.
won't. I will. There's no way I'll ignore you.
We love Americans as neighbors and friends, but we want to be uniquely and we want to be sovereign as Canadians. It's our country. It's where we grow up. You're a patriot as an American. I'm a patriot as a Canadian. It's where my grandfather arrived. It's where our collective ancestors put on military uniforms and sailed to fight wars. It's where our grandkids are going to live. We're very proudly Canadian. So we're never going to be the 51st state. And I just wish you'd knock that shit off so that we can get back to talking about the things that we can do as two separate, but two separate countries that are actually friends.
Did that really have that much of an effect up there? Like, did people take him seriously?
Yeah.
I think at first everyone thought it was a joke. Because we've always had these jokes like, one day we're going to take over Vermont. And
Let me explain this. Ever since Fallout happened, the Fallout universe.
God. I knew
Since
you were going to bring
Fallout
that shit up.
happened,
I knew you were going to bring it up.
I swear to God, in the popular American psyche, Trump may not know about this. In the Fallout universe, America forcefully annexed Canada and then subject Canada to basically being whatever. And funny part, it's a plot in the actual Fallout show in season 2, by the way, Multi.
Yeah, I know.
Do
know.
you know what? 76 is the worst game of all time, and anyone who plays it is a total.
Okay, that's aside the point. The idea that we would want Canada, I'm just going to be honest. In the popular psyche, we annex Canada. I've seen the memes where we do it, but it's like, I've also told people, if we annex Canada, Republicans would never win another election.
Ever.
Okay?
Ever.
Never.
Ever again. Ontario and Quebec would destroy it.
It's 10 times worse than California
outvote,
and New York.
They would outvote at all swing states.
And I'll also add this just before we
I
play.
want all swing states.
If
All
that
swing
happens,
states.
eventually the Democrat as a winning platform because we became so woke, they will basically say, if you vote for us, we will let Canada separate. Imagine that.
Detroit should be part of Canada and all that stuff. But then he kept saying it, and it became
Oh my God, I can't believe
a lot of people got upset about it, and I think understandably so.
Understandably, yeah. I mean, it's a crazy thing to say.
It is a crazy thing to say.
I talked to him on the phone about it. It was like so funny. He's like, at first I was joking, but then people were like, it's a good idea. Like, that's not a good idea.
When he's saying that, I can assure him of that.
So what would you be able to do to bypass all this bureaucracy? How could that be done legally?
Let Alberta.
Well, you slim it down to one project, one environmental review instead of 20 or 30. You have a fixed timeline that the bureaucrats have to give an answer of 6 months rather than just as long as they want to drag it on for. And the other thing I would do is study areas where they're perfectly situated to have a project like a pipeline or a mine or an LNG export terminal or a port expansion, and I would pre-permit it. I would say to our officials, go in and study, make sure that the environmental aspects are all in good order. I'll issue a pre-permit, and then anybody who comes along and wants to build it, as long as they follow the terms and act responsibly, has a guaranteed permit before they even apply for it. That I think we would have a roaring economy if we did that.
Prime Minister?
That sounds awesome, but the great fear is that if you do have an impact on the...
We are too far left.
The problem is, even I agree with him. I have said this, Michael. Even at best, he would still be a social conservative. He would be like Lindsey Graham
I would
is.
prefer him over
He would be
Carney.
like, you might as well elect
Me too.
Lindsey Graham, but details. No.
Anyone but Carney.
Well, the thing is,
You know what?
I take Trudeau back,
You know what?
bro.
Carney
I take
isn't
Trudeau back
terrible,
over Carney.
but obviously Pierre is a better choice.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense that how
Again,
how
we
are
too
people
far left, my
voting?
friend. We are too far left. I'm telling you.
I'm saying, here's the thing about that election. He, at his worst, would be a milquetoast rhino, like in the United States, is how I would look at Poilievre. Because it's fine if he's a social conservative, because the closest thing you're going to get to conservative.
Welcome to Canada.
You're going to get a social conservative. That's the best you're going to get.
Yeah, welcome to Canada.
And then the thing about like him, he actually had it right when you needed to talk to it. Because one of the things I said, what hurts Carney when he comes to negotiate with Trump, Michael, and you'd see like agree or I'm right or wrong about this, is the fact of Carney thinks he should be given carte blanche power to
Anything.
dictate terms.
Yeah.
Poilievre said, we have natural resources. Cut us a deal, a little bit on the tariffs. We know you got to do it. Give me a deal that will appease my stuff, and we can benefit each other. Carney is getting the basically pegged up the ass, part of the term, because he's being a stick in the mud, and he's going to have to side with China, and he's going to wind up selling out. He's going to wind up selling out your nation.
We are China's 24th province.
Environment, that impact is often permanent, and it's devastating. And I've seen some of the oil extraction that they've done up in Alberta, where you look at the area, it looks like
didn't understand
like scorched earth.
No.
She's liberal.
There's no
She will never understand.
oil extraction in the world.
But when you see these, what is that one area that often gets criticized?
Fort Mac.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're open pit mines. You open up a mine, you take out the bitumen, you separate the sand from the oil, you make it less viscous by putting diluent in it, and you ship it off, and then after.
Keep it to myself. I'll just keep it to
What
myself.
did you wanted to say, Doberman? I guess nothing.
We're selling out to China.
Yeah.
And we're their bitch.
We are the 24th province.
Carney is literally like begging for China money. And selling it to all of his investors that he is owned by. Our prime minister does not care about Canada. He cares about he cares about making money and selling out to China. I'm getting it bad. I swear to God.
The oil is after the mining is done, they resurface it, and you wouldn't even know there was a mine there.
And there's no impact to groundwater, no impact to the environment.
I mean, there's an impact no matter what you do, but at the end of the day, the people who live there are very healthy and very happy, and they're the strongest supporters of the expansion of the oil sands. It's an incredible.
Because economically,
it's incredible. It's the best resource in the world. So it's like there's no decline rate. You guys have shale here, but as the years go by, you get less and less out of a shale reservoir. We have very little decline. We can keep producing and producing. We have what's called in situ, where there's an entire oil sands operation under your feet. You could be out in a forest hunting, and you wouldn't even know that under your feet they're extracting it through a whole system of pipes where they inject just steam vapor that loose.
Do you know what? If there were more leftists that talked like Pierre, I would be like, okay, we need debates, and I would give them a lot of respect. But I swear to fucking God, there's nobody like Pierre right now in Canada.
And I think at that point in the interview, I thought that was very interesting how Rogan actually challenged Pierre Poilievre on development.
Yes, he did. Good, and that's exactly.
But the media don't speak about that.
See,
the media
here's the
don't
thing
speak
about
that.
Here's the thing about Poilievre. Poilievre is smart, but the thing about him too, you have to remember, is he would be able to work with it. But what's going to wind up happening is, Michael, you can probably see this. It's like with our Democrats. Do you notice with like the government shutdown this last time?
Yes.
No one was making deals. We've been in a government shutdown for 40
which made no
days.
sense. I have two friends that are that work in the TSA.
Yeah.
And so how do they pay their bills? So it just pisses them off, and that all they do is complain. And
the Democrats,
when they're saying to me like, "Whoa, why don't if I fight really hard, I might get my paycheck." Dude, you went a month without a paycheck. A month. 2 paychecks. And you can't pay your bills. Your kids are going Your kids are literally starving
Welcome
right
to
now.
Canada.
For what reason? What is the reason?
So
Because
here's the
liberals.
trick. He will be able to
Orange.
work. But what's going to happen up there if he gets to be prime minister? I can almost guarantee you, they're going to dig in like our Democrats did here. And the funny
You know
part
what?
is,
I think you're right.
they'll dig in. And the thing is, like our Democrat caucus, which is going to be funny, they're winning special elections actually, which is funny. Whether
No, not in Florida.
No, Mar-a-Lago.
Did you
The one
see
where
that Florida
Mar-a-Lago
election?
was. No, where Mar-a-Lago was.
You know, I have friends that live in that area, and I'm like,
No, she won.
and I can't. I still can't believe
She
a
won.
Democrat won in Florida. Also, she's really pretty. Like nobody would kick her out of the
No,
hot
but what I
tub.
would say is the funny thing about this is, what I can guarantee you, pray this never happens to you guys. See, Michael, I'm going to talk with Sorter next week because if I go over,
You know,
because the thing about, let me just say this, the funny part about like WID when they dig in, they blame Republicans for getting SNAP laws. They still blame Republicans. They let that shutdown. They let that shutdown go 60 days last time. Now they're endangering the TSA, which is endangering national security because it's under DHS.
See, that's why having ICE show up at the airports is so good. It just breaks their entire like everything that they say. It's like, oh,
But see, I will say this:
ICE is so bad, but
I will say
all of a
this: though,
sudden-
Poilievre might be able to make a deal with the other side, because what used to be in the United States is
Should've
it
done it
didn't
in
matter. You
2020.
could work with the other
should
side,
have done it in 2020.
but they don't want to work with another side. Democrats would rather dig in and watch everything burn.
Conservative won't have a choice but
know.
to work with the liberals. They won't have a choice. If they really want things to get done, they will
See?
work with the liberals.
This is why the Hassan Piker people are
sorry?
exactly perfect to show off why they will never win. And
I'm
if they
sorry.
will
Did you
get-
see Hassan's trip to Cuba? He won.
Yes, I did. Yes, and I
Oh,
was.
by the
gonna
way, he
do-
also just compared. See, this is what Multi doesn't get like again. Hassan compared him to the Charlie Kirk of the left.
Wow. Okay.
Yo,
Sorry.
whoa. Are you serious?
Interesting.
Are you serious?
Yes, he did.
He compared himself to Charlie Kirk.
Interesting.
Oh
So,
my God!
let's play more of that now.
Just give me a sec. I'm gonna.
Look up the clip.
It sinks down and goes into another
For Pegasus.
pipe comes up to the top, and you can have beautiful, pristine nature, the bears, the deer, the birds. They don't even know that there's extraction happening under their feet. So we have the best industry, the most responsible industry anywhere in the world. It's been a really disgusting PR campaign by extremist environmentalists and frankly some of our competitors to try and make our industry look bad, but it's the best industry in the world.
Yeah, they got me.
Yeah,
I saw some videos on it. I was like, oh my God, what are they doing to the ground? What are they doing to the earth? It looks horrible.
They're all it's all bullshit.
Things that you would have to do to drop your debt and sort of balance your budget and begin to turn things around.
Well, in addition, so I like this idea that actually, believe it or not, that Bill Clinton and the Republicans did in the 90s in the U.S. It was called the pay-go law. It was a very simple principle. Every time the administration wanted to bring in a new dollar of spending, they had to match it with a dollar of savings. So there was no extra net spending for like 8 years. And that's when your government balanced its budget and paid off $400 billion of debt. That law lapsed in 2002. And immediately after that, America went back into deficits. And you haven't emerged. You've been in deficit now for 25 years. This is about internalizing scarcity. Every creature in the universe, every bird in the trees, every fish in the seas has to live with scarcity, maximizing use of scarce resources.
By the way, scarcity is something Carney values a lot in his book Values. Just saying that out there.
Okay,
The only creature who
I'm
doesn't
back.
do that.
I'm back. All right. Hassan Piker
Don't
compared
distract.
himself.
It's really bad.
Compared himself to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Yes, he
A
did.
guy who was married with kids and got assassinated.
No,
That's
you don't
by,
even want to
absolutely
know.
fascinating.
By my brain cannot comprehend
The left
this
is the left.
entire situation. Okay. Anyways, keep going.
He's
with
the
this.
politician because he's always using someone else's
Right.
money. Right. It's like, oh, well, I'll just print it or borrow it or tax it. It's not my money. And so they routinely show up to their cabinet meetings and say, well, I've got a new idea. It's $100 million. Where are you going to get it? I don't know. We'll print it. We'll borrow it. We'll tax it. Not my money. But if you had a law saying you can't actually bring a proposal to cabinet unless you have matching savings to pay for it, well, then you'd have these politicians walking up and down the hallways in their departments looking for waste and like rooting it out. So instead of making the single mom, the senior, or the small business owner live with scarcity, I want the politicians and bureaucrats to live with scarcity. And that's what I would impose by law on my government.
Oh
It's just
my
a
God.
rational way
Oh,
to
thank you.
deal with the
Yes.
problem. Like, don't.
But let me say this though.
Oh,
The Balanced Budget Act. Okay, people forget in the United States in the 90s.
oh my
The-
God. I want this thing to be paid for. Well,
Okay. Let you go first.
look for the money.
Okay. Here's
I
where this
fucking-
was.
How is this
What
not?
people forget, by the way, what saved Bill Clinton was Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich
You're right.
saved.
I am old enough to know.
We are
Yes.
who those of us who
I
are
am
old enough to remember
know.
this. The thing is, Bill Clinton, well, they call it the contract with America. People actually, liberals and other social dems call it the contract on America, but here nor there, that worked all the way up till the neocons took power. That's a discussion unto itself. But the concept itself is they did balance a budget. People do not understand. In the U.S.,
I'm sorry. I have to go.
Well, thank you very much, Doberman.
Thank you very much
If you
for
want
having
to
me
come
on.
back on our show,
every time
You
you
will have the
ask me,
link.
I will come. But
Thank you,
very
man.
much. I'm
that
sorry.
was fun.
I have
a
leave
great
so
one and
quick.
talk to you soon. Take
Take
care. We are timed. We are timed. But I like talking to Doberman. So let's play more now.
Spend money unless you could save money.
Exactly.
That's how you balance things out. I mean, Clinton did balance the budget.
He did.
During his time, and people forget that because we've always assumed that there's always been this extraordinary debt, but that's not the case. During the 1990s, I mean, he did a fantastic job at that.
Yeah, it was the Congress was very disciplined as well, and the American people just got fed up and said, we're not tolerating these deficits anymore, and they imposed scarcity from the center. And by the way, the economy boomed because the government was restrained, and the free market economy could just roar. And that's another part of the equation, by the way, is unlock the power of free. This is the 250th anniversary, not just of the Declaration of Independence, but also of Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, where he basically, for the first time in human history, described the free market system. And that was starting to flourish in the States and in parts of Europe. And that system basically started to come into place after the late 1770s. The growth since the free market system has come into place in the world has been 200 times faster than it was before. Because it is the most powerful system for generating material benefit for the people. And that's what we need to restore in Canada. I want to make it the freest economy in the world.
Well, that all sounds amazing. How the hell did you lose?
here's the thing about this, though. The economy under Bill Clinton was undone by the blue chip stock crash multi. Like,
Wow.
people who don't know this, the blue chip stock was the internet stocks. He also, under the policy of Alan Greenspan, lessened restrictions on home loans. So a lot of people took out a lot of mortgages they couldn't pay for. That eventually caused the 2008 crash, by the way, which infamously the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that obliterated wealth globally. But people forget under Clinton, But Clinton was also riding the high of the last of the Reagan years. The last of the Reagan years, his budget could only really last about maybe 6 to 8 years. So Clinton did get some backlash, and that's under Alan Greenspan's leadership. He'll say he never had anything to do with it. But Clinton himself was like, oh, everyone can get a free home loan here, there, and everywhere. So,
Interesting. So before I forget, don't forget to send me Doberman Discord so I can add it.
Yes, I'll make sure it will.
Amazing. I really like the exchange, so let's play more of that now.
How can a rational person not vote for that? I mean, you're not saying anything that's restrictive. You're not saying anything that is in any way infringing on people's rights or liberties, or it just sounds like it's all just 100% positive for Canada.
That's what I think. That's my mission, and I think it will be positive. And we'll get there. Canadians do things through evolution, not revolution. So I'm just going to keep pushing my ideas, and I think overwhelmingly we'll win the next election.
One of the great interviews that I loved about you, you were eating an apple. And you were talking to this guy who was being completely ridiculous. You were asking him to define the issues that he had. And it was so funny. It was like, this is what happens when a rational person meets a person with empty narratives.
It was such a weird moment because...
You just kept eating that apple.
It was such a good apple. It was so good. That's the thing. And the thing is, I didn't even realize I was being taped. I thought it was a print interview.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's why I think I was so relaxed. So I'm in the most beautiful place in the world. If you haven't been to the Okanagan, it's unbelievable. Like, it's lakes, it's mountains, it's nice dry weather, and there's orchards and vineyards there. Like, you'd love it. And so I'm in an apple orchard, and I'm walking around just talking with people, and my staff says, this reporter wants to do an interview, and I'm enjoying the apple. He comes up, starts asking questions. Nobody who was there thought this was a moment. Like, we thought nothing of it. We dumped the whole thing. My staff, unbeknownst to me, was recording my whole walk. We dumped this 15-minute video on the internet, and no one noticed it. And like 3 weeks later, my phone blows up and people say, hey, how about that apple? I'm like, what are they talking about, this apple thing? And then, within 3 days, everybody's talking to me about this damn apple, but I had almost forgotten about eating. So it was one of the weird things.
That conversation sort of, it embodied this issue. It really did, because you have rational thinking and empty narratives colliding.
Right.
While you're eating an apple. Like, you're so casual about it, you're actually eating an apple, which was so perfect. I mean, you couldn't, if you planned on, like, if you had a PR team, I think you should be eating an apple. They'd be like, ooh, I like it. So he's casual, he's eating fruit, it's healthy,
It was totally
perfect.
Coincidence, like out of nowhere, not planned, and not even noticed. Like I said, no one there thought this was going to be a moment. We just, totally forgot about it.
So, we are kind of done with the reactions for tonight, and I had a blast. It's shorter than usual. This is the new format. We will react to less things, but I think we can still have great discussions.
I will say this. The thing about a lot of stuff that Poilievre learned, I don't know. Trump, if anything, you got to understand. Okay, Trump is not as much a business creator as he takes an idea and it's like the rock band Kiss. Kiss is remembered for the marketing. That's what Gene Simmons figured out years ago. Trump was about branding and marketing. Now, Trump is good at certain things. The reason why he could sell Republicans, people will hate him. Even Republicans don't like the man. And we have our reasons. Because if you ask us, he isn't conservative. Trump says dumb things because during his first term, I will be the first to say, the man decided to go loose cannon, run off at the mouth, and be basically special ed. The problem, he would tweet too much. He would tweet and say dumb things. And by that, I mean it's like stuff rational people were like, you're not rational. He would fire people. And he's learned. He knows how. Now, the issue now is he's got that under control. Poilievre should understand. But he is trying to run rational in an area gone mad. US, we have parts of our nation, which, I mean, look, New York, like when you talk conservatives, like when I say progressives, what progressives truly are, you're going to have these people that you think are rational. It's not they go, oh, conservatives just want to see gay people hug in the streets and not have any rights and whatever else. No, we realize you're a minority. You have the right to be married, but we had DOMA, which is defense of marriage. You can have civil unions, and if your state wants to recognize it as marriage, go ahead. That wasn't good enough for people. So, in reality, it's, as I said, it's kind of like this weird magical time, like something happened when Obama got elected. I am not sure what happened. It's this magical moment of everything that the 90s set forth. It was gone. Everything. We're just like, huh. Odd, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
we're like, we all started seeing racism, race relations went back like 100 years, at least 60 years. Trayvon Martin happened. Trayvon could have been my son. I'm like, fuck. And we're like,
by the way, because of the colonization in Africa, they are freaking more racist than here. Anyway,
well, the thing about a lot you'll find is, look, the thing with Poilievre is Poilievre has a lot of common sense, objectives, but that's his biggest strength. He has to play to it. And the thing about the apple is, you got to think of it like Mamdani. What got Mamdani elected was not what people think. What got him elected was appearing normal. Like he had this, oh, I'm walking into a bagel shop. Yeah, he's a socialist. Don't get me wrong. But he walked into a bagel shop and that's what people remember. He knows how to campaign. But reality is, most of the people around him, as I said, it's kind of like, it's just weird. I can't say like indoctrination, but it's a real thing. Like, I don't know what it is about with people. They don't think about it. Like, you got to understand, Poilievre can make sense. But can the rest of his conservatives people make sense too? Because you just not need to win.
He is moderate. I'd say a lot of his MPs are further right than him.
So what is it? You have to basically, it's like, okay, someone made the statement the other day upon, it was basically a candidate that was backed by Trump lost.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the end of the world. A candidate that was backed by Trump lost. Now, that's the case of, it's like Elon. If Elon backs somebody, would that happen? Now, you got to understand, as much as winning elections, it's talk about winning down ballot. So, states, governorships, Democrats are gaining in vulnerable areas. Now, they're banking that they can sweep the House. Okay. Here nor there. They have to do that. That's what they have to do. People are asking, like, can that be done? Clearly, yes. But Poilievre has to use the same logic. You need to win local elections. You need to win national. if that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
not just a national election. People think in the U.S., the Democrat Party thinks big. When I say they want to run, basically, like, I say they want to run stuff, right? They want to run Mamdani's. There's people who actively think Zoran God. They think Zoran-style candidates, being social democrats, being that platform sells. Fine. But that's not going to work in an area with conservatives. Like Zoran works in New York because New York has a level of that. So a socialistic platform like that doesn't work. So you got to realize Poilievre has to, when it goes to campaigning, present something and a message that sells. That's actually what Trump did really well. Now, he's going to have conservatives who aren't going to like it. And it's just going to be the case. Because, I'm going to be honest, Trump is a liberal in aspects that bother most conservatives. Like, is he war hawkish? Like, look, he went, I'm not going to, I'll be the first to say, some of his policies drive me insane because who he appoints as actual leads, they shouldn't be there. His policy, like, it's fine with what he does with Israel in some fashions. But, like, the case with Iran, he basically is, like, there's a whole argument to be made on how he wanted to conduct. Like, if it's business, the man is very smart. Foreign politics, he's not always the smartest.
For sure.
It's a way to put it. It's like basically what happens with like Iran. It's now going to be a quagmire, and he probably thought what he was going to do something, and it doesn't work.
But he did cut off China legs because China no longer has access to their oil. Anyway, this is the outro now. What do you have going on your end of the internet?
Next week, I'll probably have, like, with Sorter, I don't know what day next week. I will have that done.
Amazing.
I do have next month Crimson Desert's going to be started. But that's going to be the next game journey. But,
amazing.
I do have a couple of others because it's not that I'm not familiar with Michael. He's in the same stuff I am. Because a lot of that stuff, I do have other projects in the works, basically. It's like some of the parts of it. So, obviously, it's one of those things of we exist in pretty much a similar plane, but, you know.
Yeah.
When he's sensible, he's sensible. When he's
I like it. So, in my end of the internet, either Monday or Wednesday, I will be covering They Will Kill You, a new movie that just came out that's like a Kill Bill, but a bit different. And I really enjoyed that movie quite a lot. Tuesday, the only sure day as of right now, I will be talking about Fantastic Four, all four movies that are more recent that were made in the last 20 years. Thursday, we talk about Daredevil Born Again around 5 p.m. Eastern Time with Dragon, if the Dragon doesn't forget.
Oh, I'll probably appear. It's going to be fine. It happened because this is the latter half of a busy month.
Yeah.
Games reset, and it's been, like, horrible because I just had the thing I enlightened you with. I mean, great. Do I want to darken your doorstep with my opponents, supposed to speak? No. But The idea is what Daredevil. See, Daredevil season 2 is going to be really interesting because I have an idea what they want to do. I have to see how they execute it because as far as I want to say as far as we know, unlike Starfleet Academy that was guaranteed 2 seasons because it was 16 episodes. We know Daredevil was guaranteed that with a potential for season 3. Which
Interesting.
the idea it's going to be because it's going to be a controversial idea because I already know the bigger shows are already saying, I'm not saying bigger, like the idea, if you didn't like season 1, it's going to be my prediction. I'm going to say this now, and this without seeing it, if they can get the plot correct, is they're going to try to adapt Shadowlands and a couple of storylines because you have to watch it as it's not Daredevil Born Again storyline or it has some relations to the comics. It's going to have Loose. It's going to have that. Now, the big problem itself is if Daredevil does good, it's going to open the door for them to redo the Punisher. If it redoes a Punisher series, because I already know my criticisms of this season, and it's going to be Maltese too, is Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones is going to be really big in this season.
Wow, really?
So have fun because apparently, like some of the B-list and C-list people underneath the A-list heroes, like, I don't know, do you remember her at the end of last season? She showed up. She's going to show up. They're going to probably lean on the Defenders a little bit because the problem is it still might be a really good plot, but they got to tie it together with the downfall.
Recast Iron Fist.
Because
I don't want to see Finn
I
Jones
want to
again.
see if it goes into a season 3, Fisk is going to become corrupted at some point already if he isn't, and he's going to have to be removed as mayor. But see, here's the funny thing about it. In the comics, it was his wife who was the more corrupt crime boss.
I'm not surprised. Anyhow, before we close off, I will be streaming more Resident Evil Requiem. I did finish the game a first time. That was my blind playthrough. And now I am going through my second playthrough. And this time around, it's quite challenging. I'm not even playing Insanity. I'm playing the classic standard. And I think it's very hard because
by the way,
how did you
what ending did you go for?
The good one. Because I heard about it, and I also thought it made sense that she would take her own choice and she would have more agency because that's part of her character arc. And
so you went with the idea you free the virus, the actual antivirus that people have actually. I'm going to be honest. That is a very controversial take. That there's a little bit of retcons. That's kind of what's pissing people off about the game, but yeah.
I think that's the best ending, to be honest. It's the best ending because her character actually gets growth and Leon survives, so he gets.
You actually like, and that funny. You're gonna have to justify why you like her. A lot of people don't like Grace. They feel she's throwaway.
Well, she is interesting, and what I enjoy the most about her is how different she is from Leon. Like, we have 2 distinct characters. She is at the start of her journey, and apparently we think that Leon is by the end of his. And if you choose poorly, then it's truly his last adventure.
Well, it goes off the idea. Like, the girl from Village, right?
I didn't play the others. I will be honest. I heard about the franchise. I knew about the franchise. I have pretty much every game in the franchise. I just never got around playing them. And Requiem was like my first experience, and I adore Requiem, and I really like Grace. I think she's interesting. That's her character arc. That's her innocence getting lost, and her realizing she's been used by everyone. She's been thrown everywhere, and it's her getting more assertive. It's her getting more agency. It's her deciding of her own fate, and that's only if you release the antivirus at the end. But otherwise, her entire character arc just doesn't quite work, I think.
I will say it's an interesting game because, like,
I like it.
Crimson Desert, I need to get actually done with Neo 3.
It's rare. A game that took me 20 hours, I want to play it right away after. It's rare. And
oh, no, it has at least a couple of playthroughs.
I will also be blunt and honest. Like, if I didn't like that game that much, I think after realizing how hard it is at just playing standard with the limited save, I don't know if I would get through the game. But now I'm excited about getting through the game with that new save system because it's interesting and it's quite challenging, and I like the game. Again, I really love the game. So I will be streaming more of that, and eventually I will get through the playthrough. And yeah, I enjoyed this game. And with this, we had a great time. And the next reaction won't be next weekend because I'm out of town next weekend. So it will be in 2 weeks. So make sure in 2 weeks you get a compilation of Joe Rogan and Pierre Poilievre. And we will also cover other stuff like the freak white crazy supremacists you mentioned. That'd be hilarious.
Do you want to touch that with a fucking 10?
Yeah, I want to poke fun at it because I know another
I can look.
I know another white nationalist like that. That's a white supremacist. And
okay, let me preference this. He is known for that. He's suspected as being white nationalist, but part of the thing with him is it's I'll tell you a second preview page.
Anyway, I find that funny. That will be a very fun topic. Anyway, with this, so we are out. I enjoyed my time. Have a great night, everyone. And we are gone for now. See you soon. Talk to you soon.
Mm-hmm.